Who's first today?
I don't know yet.
Oh, nobody.
I need to move that over, get to where we could see it.
Who's first today?
I don't know yet.
Oh, nobody.
I need to move that over, get to where we could see it. Sorry about that. Check one, check one. That is kind of loud still.
Yes, you're hot.
Check. That's Ocho Man for you, man.
Yeah, say,
Oh, Ocho Man's the
your
worst.
drums ever get blown out?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Especially when
that's why I take my headphones off a lot of the time with him, because he's just insane with that. Like, if he can't have it at 100 decibels in his ears when he talks, it's not...
It's a typical, the louder you make your point, the more valid it is. It's that argument.
Wheel gets the grease, is that right?
Check 1, 2. Is that better?
Who got it? Oh, right. Man, he's all...
Randy's the man when it comes to this. Sorry, Marissa, but you could be the woman when it comes to this, but you're not this time.
Who else is in here?
Oh, we got Chris Breezy and newbie. Finally get to watch live. Super stoked. We are stoked too. Oh, another one. Jeffrey Noor, first live show. Pumped.
Well, this is a very
sweaty
rare
dolphin
Sunday afternoon show. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we were going to do it yesterday. It just kind of got away from us. Eric was a little sick.
I didn't feel good.
Have you listened to that last podcast I posted in the group?
That's Drunk Krantz there, Trollomus Prime.
Hey, hi, Donna.
Armando. I'm going to start calling you that. Yeah,
fine.
that's like a Latin American gigolo type name.
I don't want to get pegged.
Armando.
That's not what I heard.
That's a scandalous rumor. Started by a gal who
he does
put
though.
a dildo in my ass.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wrong show.
She actually make it in there?
I'll deny it.
Never mind. I don't want to know if I made it in there.
A little lipstick thing.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, Lordy. This show is already off and going.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, give me a break, huh?
I'm
I
loving
didn't
it.
do anything.
Yeah, let me say something offensive and then start the pegging. Just sat down. What do we have here?
Bringing back the moon landing shit today, people.
Oh, you guys have done this before?
It is not a Star Wars episode as much as the title would lead you to believe.
Let me run back here and look at our list of episodes.
What is the title?
The title is Surreal Talk Joins the Dark Side.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you see the Chinese?
That's why we're doing this.
Very good.
Yes.
Oh, really? Because I didn't know about that.
Well, no, that is a little bit, but the resurgence is a lot of it. And, well, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about why we're doing it.
I do like kinky shit, but some things are kinkier than others.
It was the 6th episode we did, was the moon landing one.
The 6th one? God, it probably sucked dick.
It was a
was probably just barely listen to-able.
Conversations with ourselves if we wanted, but
let's not
nobody
do that.
Nobody liked that.
Yeah, nobody liked that that series of shows.
Yeah.
That concept's been relegated to the waste can of podcast.
I liked talking to myself though. That was cool.
Yeah, that is. Well,
I liked listening to what I had to say about certain things, and then going, "You're an idiot, Eric. What the fuck?" You know, like
It wouldn't be bad, like for like a little 10-minute segment every show or something. But I think
let's listen to all the stupid assumptions Eric's made in this episode.
You don't like coming back and hearing yourself?
No, gosh, it's because I don't know. I just fucking don't.
Where is Eric's pretty face hole?
What's that mean? What's that?
He doesn't have his camera on him.
Sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
Oh, is that a euphemism?
Oh man, fuck! It's all tangled up. Hang on.
Tangled up in blue. Brian made him. Transformers technology. That's what's on the other side of the moon. We've all seen that one. Which Transformers was that?
What was I singing?
4th one?
Second.
Third one?
How
Dark of the
many
Moon?
they made that franchise?
I think they made 5 of them. Now they got the Bumblebee movie coming out.
Oh my god!
You know what I got stuck in Britt's head?
No?
Flash. The defender of the
Well, apparently, since you're talking about Transformer, wasn't the lunar rover we're going to discuss? That was kind of a Transformer kind of gadget. Have you seen it when it was like folded up? And,
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we watched a whole video.
No, he's talking about. Are you talking about the one Shiny just used, right?
No, I'm talking about ours.
Oh yeah, ours was. Dude, I want to talk about that when we
Okay.
get this show started.
Right.
This shit is insane.
Well, it's 3 o'clock. How come? Are we starting?
Well, we're ready now.
We'll give a couple more minutes, let people
Burn
follow.
Offerings is here.
Hey, let's get that like, subscribe, and thumbs up, and
I told you that's immediately where I stop a YouTube video.
I know. So
we don't do that.
I'm doing it.
We don't do that.
Go ahead and stop the video here.
We have a commenter that does that for us. Hey y'all,
UG?
smash the like button. Jay, get it.
Where's Frank today?
I don't know.
No
I see
Frank?
Frank. I mean, it's a Sunday.
He is
man.
at Patty's, I'm assuming, because his name is Frank Reynolds.
Oh,
Right.
God.
He's up to some scheme.
It's
Right
hilarious.
He's in
You're finally
Arizona,
catching
right?
up with this joke I had like 3 years ago when Frank first started listening. I was like, holy shit. Holy shit.
Is that Danny DeVito?
That's funny.
Common
What up,
theory.
burn offerings?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, the
Bob White. What's
I've
up,
heard
buddy?
these.
What's up, Armand?
I mean, I'm reading your common theories. Yeah, we need Nick Drago on this show. Boy, he's a.
I was going to say
tell you
that,
what, that
we
guy-
maybe should have just released his moon landing episode on our.
Yeah,
I mean, just for whatever. You know what I
he's
mean? I don't
adamant
know.
that we didn't go. At least Apollo 11 didn't go for sure.
Yeah, and but
What's TDH?
some of the shit. Hang on.
This day in history?
Oh,
TDIH,
I'm
right?
trying. He's so busy. He can't
He's
get him out.
Tony is something of a madman these days. He's working with another one of our businesses. He's been doing a lot of
Fuck Eric. Huh?
illegal stuff and licensing.
Here.
He's been really face
Yeah,
down.
I know. He doesn't have time. I do it solo, but I have to have somebody to argue with. I need a socialist on the show. Maybe
It's like a
Ocho Man.
masturbatory podcast.
You,
doing it alone.
I am like there. I am.
Yeah, you're a socialist.
I'm not
yeah.
a socialist, but I'm close.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe I try to get this fucker to explain the difference to me. Literally, like, if you know so much, Armand, why don't you just tell me what
See,
the
I like
fucking bad
voluntary
part about socialism is?
I like the voluntary part.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't want it to be forced. Well, maybe
Well,
I
how
do.
can you
Maybe
have
I do.
it then?
Maybe I
Then
do.
you can't have it.
Maybe I do. All right, we can't talk about that right now, but we do need to have that conversation, Armand.
Sweaty
do we need to
dolphin.
have
All
that?
right.
Because the more you know, learning's half the battle. The other half is violence.
It is not fuck Everett and Team Armand.
Sure it is.
Oh, maybe it's fuck Everett and fuck Team Armand.
Oh yeah, there's a fuck Eric right here too, though.
I don't
So
know. Yeah, you're gonna have to. Got pegged on. I did not.
You got pegged on the last
I
Ocho
did
Man
not.
show? I did not know that.
it was a
Armand.
good
I
show, but
debated
I can't
all
remember.
three of them. The odds were even, and I still came out ahead.
I don't know. No, I wouldn't say that. I came back at you with a couple of good points. You were making false equivalencies, and that you were using
No,
something to justify when you just told Ocho he couldn't use the same instance or circumstance to justify what he was talking
Well,
about.
I think it was Nick is what we were talking. Does anybody
Oh, that's
out
right,
there,
it was
do any
Nick.
of our fans feel sorry for these poor federal workers that aren't getting paid at this point?
yeah.
Come on.
Why not?
You know the average federal worker makes like 60% more than his private industry counterpart.
He makes
for the
100%
same
of shit right now, though.
So what? Good.
Why didn't Trump do this in the first 2 years where he had a Democrat,
I-
where he had a Republican-controlled Congress?
Well,
He-
I blame the
the
Republican
motherfucker could have asked
Congress.
them for the wall a million times. They'd have gave it to him. He waits until
I
they
don't know
flipped it
about
to
that.
Democratic and then starts pushing the fucking issue. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We're going to do the moon. We're going to do the moon, guys. This
Build
is
a
what we're
wall
doing.
on the moon, too.
Build a wall on the moon. That's what the moon
right.
needs. The Space Force will be hard at work building a wall on the moon.
Do our fans?
We need
on-
Space Guantanamo for space terrorists.
Space terrorist. I didn't even think about that.
What about
Holy
people-
shit, how am I going to sleep tonight?
What about people trying to trespass
Hey,
into
I
our
don't know about
space? You know what I mean? Trying to get in our space without permission.
Yeah, I mean, there's a thing on Earth like, airspace that you can't travel through.
What I'm saying is we can't have any of these people trying to cross our borders into our space.
Yeah, right. Like,
It's
we
all right.
got
That's
borders.
why we need Space Command.
The moon's technically our fucking backyard, so don't come there. You know what I mean? Like, if you're from Mars or something.
That's correct. They do get paid.
Oh, fuck you, sweaty dolphin. Prick.
What did Sweaty Dolphin say?
He just
oh,
fucked me.
thank you, Sweaty Dolphin. Yes, I agree with that. Let's see. How do you like getting pegged?
It's no fun.
Well, Jeffrey Nunn says, yes, sir, Eric tore him up bad.
I disagree with that, Jeffrey.
To find out, you're going to
I
have to
take issue.
download the most
Yeah,
recent
I'd like
episode.
all your fans to listen to it and let's.
Not all of the fans. A
send
lot
in
of
your
people
responses.
won't like that show. It's nothing like this show. It's a
I
little
try
bit
to
like
keep
this
it
show.
scientific, but with Ocho Man around, I mean,
Yeah, he
you have
gets
to
it-
drop your
he
IQ 30 points.
Yeah, and get literally perverted
Right. I
on
mean,
everything.
it's
That's
a
right.
different
It's
kind of
it's
show.
insane. You're right.
Hey, you guys about ready to do a show?
I think we already are.
Yeah,
It's true.
Yeah.
Pre-show. I'm
Yeah,
ready
yeah.
to actually start recording and do a podcast.
Yeah, let's turn on the theme music.
Hey, how's the sound out
Flash.
there? I forgot to ask.
Da-da.
Or did I already ask? Shit, I can't remember. How's the sound out there on the...
Why does
Can we
everybody
take
want me
a
to
vote?
get pegged?
We'll poll the group and see if we can replace our theme music with Flash. Da-da.
No.
The defender of the universe.
Which version? Queen or Tenacious D?
Oh, the old one. Yeah.
Ooh, Tenacious D did it?
You know Tenacious D did Flash?
I got to hold off that answer until I hear it then.
All
Who
right.
played him?
Flash? Fuck, I don't remember.
Remember that guy, blonde-haired guy?
Yeah, he was in a movie several
Haven't
years
seen
back.
anything
too.
else.
It was This Is the End,
Doesn't
right? No, it was Ted 2 or Ted where they met Flash Gordon.
Yeah, I think it was one of the Ted movies.
I like the old ones with Buster Crabbe. Remember those?
No, not
Meeting
even
the
close.
Merciless. Yeah.
Buster Hyman. Who else?
Hey, he was a gold medalist at the Los Angeles Olympics.
Nobody caught that.
Buster Hyman. Seymour Butts.
Yeah, similar.
Does anybody out there know what a hymen is? I mean, I don't think
everybody knows what that is.
Really?
Everybody. Everyone knows what that is.
Okay, good.
That's a myth. Never mind. Let's just
start.
Roll the fucking bean footage, bud.
Before you start getting that Ocho Man thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know we're spiraling into Ocho Man territory. Well, everybody wants me to get pegged. Trump appointed a lawyer that got Jeffrey Epstein off for raping kids as the head of the Federal Labor Department.
Is the theme music playing?
Well, I don't disagree with you there. I question all the government figures. Absolutely, that's my point. We don't trust the government. Hopefully, on this show, Ocho Man does.
Yeah, he
thinks the government is.
This guy says the latest episode
infallible.
was meh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, huh?
Burnt Offering said that, huh?
He likes to no.
What? Not enough sex? What?
Here, hang on, we're gonna roll the thing.
Oh.
We're not because it ain't playing. Hold on, we'll try that.
It's just a fantasy. You better check your psychiatrist, Sweaty Dolphin. Though that fantasy indicates some sort of hormonal imbalance.
Shh. We can't roll it with us.
Nothing. We're getting nothing.
Nothing.
What the fuck?
There's got to be a short and a wire.
No, there's got to be people playing with stuff.
Well, that's obvious. Not obvious, but
we're recording.
We'll just insert the song later, or yeah, right? All right.
I'll count it down.
All right, and I'll do the intro here.
People messing with the. Hey Brian, when you hear this, let's start up a group that beats anybody who touches our mixers in these studios, especially when we get done rebuilding these new studios.
Oh, with big Viking swords too is what we beat them with.
Viking swords.
Anyway,
coming down in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal, a lineupmedia.fm production, and we are back after a long hiatus.
Like 3 weeks or so.
We're assholes, man.
Well,
actually, we're just busy.
Yeah, let's see when the last show we put out was December 28th. I guess it hasn't been that long. It was a week ago. We put out the End is Nigh. Remember we redid the
yeah, it's probably. I think it was a shit episode too, but it's whatever. Neither here nor there. What are we talking about today?
Today we are coming back around to the moon landing.
We're going to redux it a little bit, but
as most of you have heard, China recently has just sent a new unmanned probe over to the moon, to the dark side of the moon. It's been all the...
It's actually the far side. It's not the dark side of the moon because it sees as much sun as any other part of the moon.
Fair enough.
It's just we don't get to see it, so it's the far side.
Dark to us, yes.
Dark to us.
So we thought, well, did they really do it? Probably.
Same sense in dark as in dark matter, where it's not just dark, it's dark because we don't know what the fuck it is.
You know that, well, now they have a new theory on that. Did you read the report about that?
Yeah, just a couple days ago.
An extra dimension or something that we're on this big bubble and all our universe and our 4 dimensions are on the edge of that bubble.
Which is many more dimensions.
Adding another dimension.
I can't think about that shit right now, Armand. I got too much on my mind. We got to get the moon going.
Well, I'm just saying.
Before we get to that, though,
I don't
got some voicemails.
Oh, good.
Voicemails.
These are always fun. I love these, yeah.
We got a couple weeks worth of voicemails. We're going to start with one I don't think that we've played on the show before. Actually, I'm going to start on Luar's because we've only got 24 seconds of Luar, and we love the guy.
Yeah, Luar.
Yeah, he's
great. I don't remember if we played it all.
Luar.
So here's the first one from Luar.
You guys heard about the religion of the dude from the Big Lebowski movie?
I do remember.
We talked about this. Movie. You called him an asshole. Everybody that does
they have their own.
Yeah, we did. I'm going to keep playing it though because why not?
You guys heard about their religion? Sure. They have their own website here, dudism.com.
I have not gone there, Luar.
Looks all official and whatnot.
Right.
It's kind of like a club more than I would say a religion, in my opinion. I mean, I guess you can call yourself a religion, but again, I'd have to go back to you're an asshole.
Message.
Move on.
I forgot to tell you guys. Team Armand.
Hey.
I was hoping for a fuck ever. That's even worse.
I love that guy.
You love that guy, do you?
I wonder why. He's great. I got to friend him on Facebook, damn it.
I'm friends with Luar, I believe.
Sweaty Dolphin asks how the song's coming. We got about over a minute.
I haven't worked in forever.
But you're over a minute.
Yeah.
2 minute and a half, maybe.
I'm actually willing to release all my source material out to the group if anybody wants to give it a rip because I'm just lazy.
If we got any editors out there.
Yeah, anyway, here we go. This is a message from Matt. This was sent over a month ago. We haven't used it. I don't think.
Started listening to the show about 3 weeks ago. Haven't stopped yet.
Right on.
Favorite episode was Pizzagate.
Yeah.
So that, I would say, makes me Team Eric.
Ha-ha.
I talked to you on Facebook, Everett. Told you I'd wait to send it out on a voicemail. So, fuck Everett.
Ooh.
Right back at you, buddy.
I liked it.
Right back at you. All right, here's one from our longtime friend, Kevin Yarrow.
I like Kevin stuff.
Hey, guys.
Hey, man.
Because I'm one of those people who would jump off of a bridge if everyone else was doing it.
Me too.
Oh,
I
yeah,
want to be left
for sure.
out. Fuck you, Everett!
Yeah!
Thanks, Kev.
Jeez,
Love you,
you're
buddy.
really taking your lumps today, aren't
I
you?
love taking my lumps. They're good.
How's the team standings?
Oh, I don't know.
Eric's way ahead. I'm sure. I haven't looked in months, but last I checked, he was like 10% ahead, so I stopped looking.
Speaking of that,
Right,
go over to
yeah.
surrealtalkpodcast.com, vote in the poll.
I've even putting on secret
Team
videos
Eric.
on YouTube and Facebook about go vote for Deep Everett. It hasn't been doing me any good. I don't
That's
think.
because cheaters never win.
Let's take a look. We got to hurry up through this because
I
people are
challenge
mad at us, but let's see. You got me 428 to 401, so it's not that bad.
Damn, 800 and something people thought enough to vote.
Trolling us, we're getting yours today, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, in fact, we'll do it right now. Let me roll down and find it.
Oh, shit.
What song is Sweaty Dolphin talking about?
Everett's doing a Fuck
Oh,
You
that's
Everett
right.
song.
That's right. Oh, it's a song, huh? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Right.
even
It's
just
not
a
gonna put-
compilation of the clips.
Put some music, though, right?
You're going to do
Where
a
is it?
beat? Everett, you're going to mix it up? You're
Yeah,
gonna do a beat?
it's already.
You're going to spin it and
It's
shit?
kind of got a Mexican thing.
Oh, wicka, wicka, wicka,
Oh,
wicka,
salsa,
fuck
huh?
you. Everett,
right.
fuck you.
Can't you use some? Well, can't you use some classical
God
music?
damn it, I can't
like
find your voicemail, Dron.
Wagner
Oh, like-
opera
like-
or something?
When was the last time you sent one?
1812 Overture or something.
Ooh, fewer release.
Fuck you, Everett. Yeah.
That's not too bad. Anyway, we'll keep them going. Hey, Dron, leave me another one real fast and we'll play it today. All right, let's see. Moving on. This is, let's see, Old Schmeed.
Schmeed, eh?
Hey boys, it's old Schmeed.
Hey, man.
Yes, sir.
Just wanted to say I really like the show.
Thanks, buddy.
Listen to it all the time.
Cool.
Keep pulling out those new episodes because we need them in our life. Gotta say, Team Eric for sure.
Yeah, we get that a lot.
We need you,
Hell
though.
yeah, bud.
You keep us from going
Who do we need?
down. Everett, we need you, though.
Yes, you do.
Keep us from going
Glad you realized
down
that.
the rabbit hole too deep. So I respect that. Sometimes you just gotta let Eric talk, though, man. He's
Fuck him.
yeah, even though you don't agree with him, sometimes I don't, but even though you don't agree with him, let him finish his point at least.
All
Because,
right.
We
I mean,
prefer to
your
drown him
audience is Team Eric for sure. So Everett, just shut the fuck up and let Eric talk.
Shut the fuck up,
Like I
Everett.
said,
I like
boys, keep on keeping on.
Thanks, man. You too, bro. Laughs a garden. Dig it, brother.
That was funny.
My God.
All right, now we got a nice anonymous 17-seconder here. Let's see what this does.
Oh, boy.
Guys, do an episode on David
Oh, wait a
Hogg and
minute.
Orlando shooting already. Damn, been waiting
There it is.
forever.
That's Dron, isn't it?
Team Eric, fuck you, Everett.
Yes, yes.
Again?
Fuck you, Armand.
Oh,
Yeah, high five, buddy. Fuck
Got
you,
him.
Armand.
Can't stand that guy.
Can't stand that guy.
Jeez. Well,
Fuck you, Armand.
That's
yeah.
great.
rather passionate listener.
That's funny. Here
Hey,
comes one.
what David Hogg was he talking about?
Yeah, he's
You
one
guys
of
did an
those.
episode on him?
No, he wants us to.
Oh, he just got into Harvard with a 1270 SAT.
Yeah.
How did he
Good
do
luck.
that?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Because he's David Hogg. His dad works for the CIA or some shit, doesn't he? What's his dad do? His dad does something fucking government related high up, and I can't remember what it is.
Nick would be good on that show. He's got some.
Nick would be good in almost any show, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah,
but-
I know. Well, you name a conspiracy.
I like Nick. We
Guys
do.
on
We do
board. Yeah, I know.
the show with Nick on Fridays. But the thing, like my issue with how he does those conspiracies, he presents a lot of it as fact,
Yes.
and there's no one. So like whatever, and I do. Even if I try to say this is what happened, there's someone here to reality check me or
Yeah.
kind of rebuke what I'm saying.
Keep you from being an asshole.
No, rebut.
Is that what it is? Rebut.
rebut.
Okay, rebut what I say.
Rebuke means fuck you. That's a rebuke.
Oh well, that happens.
Well,
So
that
yeah,
happens
okay.
too.
So that
But
in,
rebut,
as well.
Rebut your assertion.
Right.
Anyway, I do. Sorry, I do that to Ocho Man. By,
No, I can't
Basically,
pass
by
everything
reflex.
off as fact, man. When I make my mind up, I will, but I'm open to new information.
yeah, right. No, he's pretty. He's immovable. He's an immovable object.
Who?
Nick.
Nick.
Oh, yeah.
He brooks no debate.
Trying to find this voicemail I left on fucking. I don't know. Hey, send me a link to it if you can, Drunts, or any kind of help you can give me. Did I call him Drunts?
He said you left a link to my recording on Discord. Everett.
Yeah, I don't remember where though.
Well, we have a fucking server, so it's got to be
I'm
in
looking.
there.
I'm looking. I just don't see it. It's been a while, man. Been a while. Topic suggestions: paranormal, conspiracy. Could be anywhere. All right, I'm gonna move on. Next one here is from a Matt Johnson.
Oh man. Okay.
Hey guys, what's going on?
So Matt?
Hey, first of all, I just wanted to thank you guys for everything you do, keeping me entertained day in, day out. And I was wondering if you guys had looked into that Chinese social credit score thing, which essentially is a credit score, but for good deeds and your social life and stuff like that. Kind of like that Black Mirror episode. I've been reading a little bit about it. It sounds pretty interesting, but I don't think we have the whole story yet, so I was just wondering what you guys thought about it.
I need to look more into it, exactly what the parameters are.
Thank you again for everything, and oh yeah, before I go,
what it affects is
Team Everett all the way, baby.
Oh, hey, come on.
Fooled you. Fuck you, Everett.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that hurts.
Fucking message of the day.
Oh,
I guess where we played that before.
How sharper than a serpent's tooth.
That was
That
beautiful.
One hurt. Yeah, I was about to give him a hand.
I forgot all about that.
Oh,
I remember listening to that the first time in the office. I was like, yeah, he said Team Everett. And then he goes, fooled you. I was like, what?
Oh.
Motherfucker.
Ooh.
All right, hold on a minute.
Oh, my God.
That was good.
So I was just wondering what you guys thought. Just thank you again for everything, and oh yeah, before I go, Team Everett all the way, baby. Fooled you. Fuck you, Everett.
Creative.
You, sir, are the best of the day, I think.
That one hurt.
That was good.
Yeah, I bought it too.
Oh, well. Can't win them all. Moving on. This one's from Matt.
Hey,
Another Matt.
this is George H.W. Bush. I'm up here in Walker's Point, Kennebunkport, Maine. Drinking a little bit of Pabst Blue Ribbon.
He's got a good
and
old
I just
brew.
wanted to say one thing. That is,
here it comes.
Who gets it?
Fuck you, Everett.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
good at the whole George H.W. Bush.
I thought it was fine.
Voice.
He did okay.
But like I said, fuck you, Everett.
As long as you get that part in.
Too fun.
Yeah.
Same call.
I love it. All right, next one's from Oscar. Pretty sure we've had
Hey
Oscar
guys,
a couple times before.
third time caller.
Yeah,
this is Oscar out here in Austin, Texas. I just wanted to give you guys a topic or just a point of interest you guys might want to look into, and that is the Frost Tower in downtown Austin, Texas.
Frost Tower.
It's if you don't know about the Frost Tower, it's this huge statue skyscraper in the shape of an owl right downtown, man. Now, what makes this interesting is the fact that
Moloch, I think.
It was the first skyscraper finished and completed after the 9/11 attack.
No shit.
It's too big of a coincidence for me to think of after the largest human sacrifice in American history, they erected a skyscraper-sized statue of an owl in downtown Austin.
I don't get the whole.
I really haven't looked much into it. It's just a bit of facts that I came up upon.
I think the
you guys would do the
significance.
research.
You don't understand what we're trying to do here, brother.
All right, bye guys. Fuck you, Everett.
Fuck you, Everett. I
Damn
liked
it.
it.
Right at the end. You got to love that.
I think the significance of the owl is
Look, there's a picture on the screen there. Does it look like an owl to you? I mean, a little bit, I guess. Like 80 kind of bird-like.
Yeah.
Kind of bird-like.
Avian.
Yeah, avian in general, but I don't know.
It's a stretch, but.
Ornithological.
Yes.
Gynecological.
Oh, somebody's listening to my show. Yeah, we strive for exactitude.
Yeah, that's one of your sayings.
Yeah, right. That's a mantra.
All right, moving on. Thanks, Oscar, for that. Moving on to Ashlyn. Here we go.
Hey guys, this is Ashlyn from Kentucky. I just finished listening to your medical fuckery episode.
That was a good one.
All right.
And it just made me start thinking about when my mom had cancer and how much it cost my family to have her go through her chemo, all the equipment they brought to the house before she passed away. And it cost my dad nearly $400,000 before insurance. And after insurance, he still had to pay a couple thousand. And then it made me think of when I had my daughter and with the C-section and how they admitted me in the hospital a week early. It cost me almost $100,000 before my insurance.
Jesus, man.
And after insurance, I still had to pay a couple hundreds.
Unbelievable.
So it just makes me think, like, why is the medical industry so hell-bent on charging people who don't have insurance at all or has, state.
I'd like to stop that right there. I think I can answer that. Because if they don't charge the people without insurance they can't charge the people with insurance that. You know what I mean? You start making precedents. We're only charging you this because you have insurance that could pay for it. Insurance is gonna be like, fuck
well,
you.
We've gone over that. I'd like to do another show on that actually, but
would you medical fuckery part D?
Yes,
Let's
absolutely.
set one up. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
All right, we got another little bit on the same.
Yeah, I feel boy, that's terrible. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm sure that's a story that's told over
pretty
and over.
common.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunate.
25 minutes in, we got to break into the moon soon.
I know.
Insurance two more that doesn't pay as much as you would like, and you still have to pay an excessive amount just to go to the hospital for, being sick. So, Armand, really the questions for you is why is the medical industry ravaging on money? And
because it's controlled by humans, and humans are fucking greedy.
No,
because listening back in early
because
December.
the government got involved and took out free market sources. That's why.
Is that right?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, yeah. I mean, a lot of this is some of the myths of medicine. And I tell people honestly, if I had cancer, I don't have medical insurance. If I would refuse. I wouldn't take any chemo.
No.
I would not have any. I wouldn't have treatment at all. I would fast.
You would die.
I would try fasting, and I would.
And I would go to your funeral.
No sugar.
Absolutely. Eliminate the sugar,
man,
fast.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And CBD oil.
Yep.
And Essiac tea.
Coming from a doctor.
I dated a gal that worked in a cancer clinic.
Dietitian.
She said, yeah, but I dated a woman who was a nurse in a cancer clinic.
You had to take general fucking anatomy classes and shit, right? Like you had to be a fucking doctor, you have to know the body.
Well, I'm just telling you what I would do for what it's
I don't know. It just seems crazy to me. It's like you might as well just eat mushrooms to make yourself feel better. You know what I mean?
Oh God, doesn't it?
I'm just saying your odds of surviving cancer are probably better doing what I just told you than having all the chemotherapy and radiation.
Well, let's do a study then, see if anybody's willing to
95% of doctors, 95% of oncologists agree that chemotherapy is worse for you than it helps kill cancer.
These guys
really? Where'd you get that 95%?
I made that fucker up.
I thought so.
It doesn't. Let me tell you something. How they, to me. If you come into my office and you have a bunion and I fix it surgically and it doesn't hurt anymore and you get into shoes, that's a success.
Sure.
Okay, to a cancer doctor, if you come in and his diagnosis is or prognosis is you've got 3 months and he gives you 4 months through all this, that's a success.
I mean, I guess you could look at it that way.
They don't
that's
cure
the way
anyone.
They look at it.
Absolutely.
It's
that is
not a
rule
cure.
of success. They don't cure anybody.
Yeah, so when you see the statistics of cancer success rates, survivor success rates,
that qualifies.
We
bought you 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
They probably told you. They probably told you to adjust your diet, and that's what ended up.
I don't know if they
buying
do
you
that,
the 2 weeks.
Right,
you know what I mean?
It could be, but
the best way to live forever is not eat.
On top of
weirdly,
yeah. Wow.
Like extreme calorie deficits.
Or breathe. Don't breathe anything.
No, just not eating. They say is the best way to extend your life.
So we got any more VMs?
I'm on a fast right now. 48 hours.
Yeah, we got 2 more VMs here.
Yep.
We got to finish up this one though. Ashland's actually in chat, so
great.
I'd have to say I'm team both.
Oh, okay.
Some days I'm team Eric for conspiracy thoughts, and then some days I'm team Everett for the logical side. So
that's right.
You're the logical side?
Bye.
I am the logical side. What side would you say I'm on? Hold on.
You're the indifferent side.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't really give a shit.
I'm indifferent until somebody tries to pass bullshit. You know what I mean? That's when I got in trouble. Like, hold on now, you're not making sense. That's where I got real trouble with it. You can pass off all you want all along.
I don't think Everett and Nick could do a podcast about conspiracies together.
Why?
It would not.
That was the original plan?
That was the original plan. That would not have worked.
That'd have been funny.
See, look at it. I'm sorry, Ashland. That's terrible. Unbelievable.
It is a bummer.
In fact, one of my best friends, his mother just died of cancer, and my friend's sister is an oncologist at UCLA, and she went back home to treat her mother personally, and of all things, my friend and his father, who was a cardiologist, by the way, said, please stop treating her. Because what she was going to do, even by her own admission, maybe would extend her life maybe a month or two.
Yep.
And she's putting the poor lady through hell.
Yeah.
These are the most cutting edge. This is her own mother she's treating. And the father and brother, who are both doctors, just begged her to stop treating their mother and let her, So that's what we're talking about. That's where we're at.
Yeah, it's a pretty fucking shady
everybody,
deal.
Stop eating. And this is before you get cancer.
Not altogether, though, permanently. Don't stop eating permanently.
It's even better.
Well, you have to have food.
Fast 48 hours a week or eat 1 meal a day. And obesity is a big kill. And try to meditate and keep your cortisol levels low.
Lost me on the meditation.
Yeah, that helps.
How many meals a day you reckon a caveman ate?
1 a month, maybe. They kill a mastodon.
Oh, no, come on. They had to be a little more than that.
Well, not necessarily.
I mean, necessarily.
You get your electrolytes. You drink salt water, and you get your electrolytes.
I don't know enough to dispute it.
Yeah, he's got to get a point there.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for voicemails this week.
Right.
We'll catch back up with those next week.
We'll do medical. That'd be great. Medical fuckery part 2.
Yeah,
no, there is not next week. There will be no neek.
No, not next week. Week after.
Huge event next week. By the way, we will not
really
be on.
Huge, man. Pretty huge.
Pretty fucking huge.
Huge for us.
Like 4 million impressions on Twitter with that.
And it's huge for us.
Huge for us.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so a couple questions right off the bat. We talked about this already. Why redo this? We've not seen it talked about much lately in normal channels you see, your Reddits or YouTubes. Nothing quite.
A lot of your other popular conspiracies seem to come up a lot more often. You might see one thread about the moon landing or some aspect thereof once every 6 months, or something. I'm just saying it doesn't show up.
It's been 50 years now. This is the 50th year anniversary.
Correct. Yeah, July 20th. That'll be 50 years.
Yeah.
Because it's 19. I'm like, didn't it happen in 69? Like but yeah, it's fucking 2019. So
that's
sorry.
Yeah.
Also, I don't really recall the first episode when we talked about this over 2 years ago.
Over 2 years was the last time.
2.5 years ago
was when we talked about. God, we've been doing this show for how long? Have we doing?
Started in April in 16, so we're almost 3 years now.
Jesus.
Yeah. And China state media claims they landed on the dark side of the moon, which we again just talked about. Looking that up, do you think they did it, or you think this is more propaganda?
Well,
I don't see why they did it.
I bet they did it. I bet they did it.
Well, that's the way to do it, right? I mean, if you're going to fake it, let's be logical. Yeah, we went on the other side.
And I bet
nobody would know.
Now, listen, think about China's intentions here. Trump announces Space Force, says he's going to commandeer space, basically. China I can't have none of that. Let's get some shit up there. I don't know what this fucker's planning, but we got to do something. So they're trying to actively insert themselves into this whole new fucking area that we're going to be dealing with. You know what I mean? Because we don't know whose, I want to say property, whose fucking territory space is. If you want to try to classify that as okay.
Yeah, there's a treaty. There's lots of stuff. Nobody owns space or anything in it.
Antarctica, same thing.
I do.
You can't shoot off nuclear weapons in space. Things like that.
Didn't they hit the moon with the nuke and it rang like a bell? I thought I heard that.
Oh, God damn it. No, they didn't. You can't make the moon ring. There's no sound in space.
Well, that was the conspiracy.
It vibrate, I guess. But
yeah. Well,
yeah, no.
Anyway.
What was that?
I refuse to do that again.
No, I don't mean the sound effect.
The reverberation.
The moon. He says that we hit the moon with a nuke and it made it ring, like it vibrated and rang out like a bell. I mean, it's just one of those silly moon conspiracies you hear out there.
How does that go? Because you can't have an explosion in space, right? Everything kind of implodes.
Well, there's no fire. I imagine you could still have an explosion.
I don't think so. I don't think things explode in space.
Well, whenever things go out from a central point, that's
you still have to have something to push against, so don't you? There's no atmosphere, so they just kind of collapse.
Well, what if you have
the fireball would, but there would still be damaging force exerted
in every direction,
I'm
right?
not sure about that because I thought that was one of the main.
Well, force. If you have a stick of dynamite, you blow up in space.
Yeah, right.
It's not going to implode in on itself. It still has to go out. Every reaction, there's equal opposite reaction. It's going away from it. It's pushing off of itself.
Right.
More or less.
I thought that was
it would be significantly less, I'm sure, but it would still explode and fucking kill you, I bet, if you were holding it in your hand.
We'll Google that right now. Can there be explosions?
Because I thought that was one of the main objections to a lot of these space movies, that things don't explode in space and everything else.
Well, if there was a fire in a vacuum...
You have to have oxygen.
Exactly.
Fire,
it'll start, but it'll burn out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So the quick Google answer, chemical explosions will also explode in space since they function by breaking weakly bonded chemical components. No oxygen is necessary.
Sense.
Right.
Nuclear explosions can, of course, occur in space, too. However, in space, there's no atmosphere to transmit sound, so there would be appear to be silent. So, yeah, it looks like explosions can totally happen in space.
These are chemical and nuclear, though.
Right.
Well, what other kinds are there?
That's a good point. I mean,
what other kind of explosion?
What if it's pressure explosion from air pressure, but that it wouldn't happen in space. But that could be an explosion.
You puncture a hairspray can in space.
Or anything, like an oxygen canister. You can make an oxygen canister explode in space. Say it's under like a liquid under pressure. Yeah. All that would go from low or high pressure to low pressure. That's just the way it works.
Would a gun shoot in space?
Sure would.
Yeah. Yeah, a gun will shoot in space in a vacuum chamber. I'm sure. Would a gun shoot? Like, there's no explosion, is what we're saying here, Armand. I'm trying to equate
this. It's a chemical explosion, though, right? Mm-hmm. That's what propels it, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, work for it.
I'm gonna look up that.
We are ignorant on space, and let's stop making that so obvious.
Yeah, moving along.
But I mean, I just thought of that though. Wouldn't you say if we faked the moon landing to get back to the subject, you just say we went to the dark side?
And maybe a good way to, nobody.
That's what I'd say.
You can't even verify that with the best telescope. Of course, they say that even you can't see the shit we did on the moon with the best telescopes on Earth. The best you can, get resolution on is something the size of a small house. So you couldn't see the lunar module, the lunar landing area, the flag, none of it.
Of course, there's no evidence for us human laymen, fucking nobody, bottom feeders to go and, verify that they went there.
So let's get into the.
So I thought I would
syllabus here.
We would start by listing like a couple of cool facts about the Apollo 11 mission. So the Apollo 11 mission was the mission that first landed humans on the moon, part of the Apollo space program.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and Michael Collins, I think, were the first humans to land.
Right, July 16th through July 24th, 69.
So Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong spent 21 hours and 36 minutes time on the moon's surface.
And that's part of the isn't that the biblical Adam, Abel, and Cain, the first three men, and it's Aldrin, Armstrong, and Collins.
See, interesting.
The parallel between the Bible and the first ones on the moon.
There's a lot of weird parallels drawn on the moon landing.
Yeah.
If you get on the internet and start Googling stuff.
What kind of rocket did it use, Everett? We watched a nice video
Wasn't it
of
Saturn
rockets.
V?
It was a Saturn V, which is like the biggest rocket that we've ever fucking made.
Yes.
Eric and I spent some time learning about the Apollo program and the rocket.
We focus on the wrong shit, okay, people?
Well, it's interesting.
Right.
Well,
They made, 15 of these fucking things, only used 13 of them.
But
it's
it was
the only vehicles that have ever transmitted or transported.
They're the only ones that have never
US
non-malfunctioned as well. So a Saturn rocket has never malfunctioned.
Yeah, I know the Russians had a lot of problems with their rockets.
Yeah, their unmanned program Luna. So they would send up probes or whatever to the moon, just to do like a flyby or whatever, and they wouldn't even give them a mission name unless they made it out of low Earth orbit. They were like, yeah, it never happened.
That's the way to do it.
You gotta love it. You might be part Russian, Armand.
That's what I never admit I'm wrong. It's the way. Never
funny.
admit anything. But yeah, well, I mean, when you talk about the Chinese too, I'm not sure this is for any military, but wouldn't you say this whole space race, which I don't know, I guess we're starting again with the Chinese now,
coming back
is
up,
all a matter of national pride? I mean, what do we really get out of it?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I don't know, right?
What do we get out of it? Nothing.
Tang, right?
To sound like a conspiracy guy, it keeps us from looking at the other stuff. You know what I mean? The other important stuff. It's national pride about something, really that doesn't matter.
So was it worth it?
Was it going to the moon in the first place?
Or do you want to end the show with that question?
Yeah, I think we give our final thoughts with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. So spend some time, get on the internet, look up the actual Saturn V, and let's talk about it, Eric. The madness of say you were interviewed to go up and on the Apollo missions.
I'll go ahead and write what I wrote or read what I wrote down. So the planning and math and science involved in this mission is mind blowing. Even with today's technology, if you were to sit me down at a job interview and tell me this was what we had to do, I would say you're looking for this is a suicide mission then, right? I mean, I'm going to die.
So what's included in this, Eric?
So there's do
you remember the
first off, maybe get killed from radiation, maybe not. We don't fucking know, but they said they spent 4 hours in that Van Allen radiation belt and wasn't enough exposure.
No.
But how do you know whether it's going to be enough or not? I mean, maybe you're right.
I think they've got it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you're trusting some smart guy.
Now you sound like the people who write these theories out there.
Now, hang on, I'm not done though.
You can see, going right through Van Allen radiation belts, how do they know? Well, they can tell how deep these Van Allen radiation belts are. They can get a pretty good idea for the
how radiate.
Yeah, you can see the energized particles from Earth. What's going on in there? They can tell how fast their vehicle is going to be moving.
Can they tell you if you spend 4.5 hours in there versus 4 hours, now you'll get cancer?
They
and
can give you
4 hours you won't.
I think it has to do with the intensity of the particles, and there was obviously there's an element of risk to it, but.
Exactly.
But there's an element of risk to everything.
And then they've got.
I work next to the hospital, which has an X-ray machine. You know what I mean? It's like.
And then when you watch the actual what they did when they left Earth here. So they took off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, Kennedy Space Center. Mission controls Houston, Texas. Everybody knows though Houston, we have a problem. So they took off from here, and then they don't. So another idiot me about space was thinking that they go straight up, right? That's not the fucking case. They go like this.
Yeah, they get
out of the atmosphere at an angle instead of.
See, again, you're making it seem like they turn like that. The planet's moving, man, under them. They might be going straight up, but think if you're going straight up and the planet under you is going like this. Think about it from the ground. Your base is
like Marty McFly.
I think it's a more or less vertical,
three-dimensionally, really.
Yeah, I think when they come back, of course, they skipping on the atmosphere, etc. They have to come in at an angle. But
so they came out of the atmosphere, and I think that they did one orbit around Earth, and then shot their trajectory to the moon. Took them 3 or 4 days to get there, and then so once they get in there, though, this is the fucked up part, because they don't have computers back then that could graph this shit out and show you in a precise way. This was math that they figured this out by.
That lady they made the movie about is still alive. I think she just turned 100. The black lady who was the genius that did a lot of the calculations in her head.
Yeah, but
his name Johnson, I think it was.
So after they get to the moon, now they got to lower the moon orbit. So they get 2 miles from the surface, I believe, and that caused them a regular orbit around the moon.
No, they can't safely start. There was 50,000 feet above. They can't start their descent until they're 2 miles away from the command module and the service module.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 50,000 feet.
Right. Okay.
So anyways, they separate from the service module and the command module and begin their descent, which, again, here's another one of the big conspiracy theories. Why were there no craters on the moon where it landed? Well, for one, you got 6 times less gravity.
Right.
So that makes that orbiter weigh roughly 6,000 pounds equivalency on the moon. And they're firing these fucking retro rockets the whole way down. And when you're talking about the moon too, it's not like it's a sand dune you're landing on. It's a hard surface. It's got some dust on it, but still it's rock.
Yeah, but we talked earlier that whenever there's something that pushes that powdery surface away, it stays the way it is. So if you've got a propulsion rocket as this thing's sitting down ready to make landing, and
you think those rockets fire the whole way as it's coming down?
But I think
even that to slow the 6,000 pound whatever, that's enough to cause a fucking disturbance.
There is a disturbance under there, but it's not huge.
Well, I'm just saying there's evidence.
Eric's
there has to be.
Eric's now anti.
But I think the dust that flew up is exactly the way they can't simulate that in a if indeed Stanley Kubrick directed this whole thing. That can't be simulated in any kind of studio. So apparently
the opacity of the dust on the moon is
opacity.
Is the difference there? That's what a lot of people ask. Why does the moon give you light like a light source like the sun does?
It diffuses and reflects it from every direction. Basically, imagine it like a multifaceted, like a diamond, how it reflects light in every direction. Yeah. It's whenever you've got enough.
And that's why you got shadows and
Well, like a lot of people were freaking out because whenever you see Armstrong coming down the lunar module, coming down the ladder on the opposite side of the sun, that the module's between him and the sun, and it wasn't Aldrin. Whoever was taking a picture of it would have been who's the second guy.
Neil Armstrong, the most famous one.
It was Aldrin.
Yeah.
So as he's coming down the ladder, you can see him clear as day in the picture. Like he's lit up just fine. But what's weird is you look at the shadows on the ground of the lunar module coming from the sun, and they're dark as hell shadows.
Right.
So the question is, how can we see the astronaut on the
tell
ladder?
them what you conclude from that is multiple light sources is what you can conclude from different directional shadows.
Say that there's multiple light sources, but what it is again, it's the diffusion of the light off the surface of the moon. It basically acts as a light source from the bottom in every direction. So say here's your surface of your moon. It's reflecting light off this way and off that way and off that way.
So kind of like how snow, when it's really snowing.
Exactly like snow.
It's bright as shit, you know what I mean?
Exactly like snow.
Right.
And how you can still have a shadow on snow, but still have very bright shit all around. It's the same difference, but a lot of people don't buy that.
Right.
I do. They also asking why in those photos, how can you not see the stars in the background of those photos?
That's another.
And that's another easy one though. Think about when you take a photo of somebody on the beach or something, and there's something really light in the background that might get washed out. It's a question of exposure. A camera can only take in so much light. You'll have to have a lens in front of it to block out some of that light and make it dark enough to where the sensor or the film only takes in enough light to capture the object in the front.
Right.
So these things are so fucking bright up front.
Basically, it's focusing on there and darkening. It's allowing
how much exposure of light is allowed to get to the film. So if they have to dial that back, close the iris in so only a little bit of light gets in, you've just now taken all the light from the background out of the equation. You got such an intense foreground light and such a non-intense starlight from the ground. They don't get exposed.
Well, the same goes for these pictures they take from the ISS. If the sun's at an angle or whatever, they don't see stars.
You can't. It's just they are insignificant light sources.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's like take a
that's
flashlight,
like lighting a lighter and then fucking
put a flashlight at it.
Fucking 2 million lumen flashlight at it, and then taking a picture and telling me that you can see the flame.
Right. Or take that fucking same flashlight and put lighters all around it and just point it at the camera. You might see a little haze or something or those lights or whatever, but you're not going to be able to
the brighter light's drowning it out.
because the white astronauts are pushing so much light off the white lunar surfaces is reflecting so much light that you're not going to be able to see those things behind you.
So, I mean, what would you guys say is the most convincing argument that we didn't go then? Because I think all these scientists, I don't think
any of them are really convincing.
On the photos they talk about, and that's
because they stitched photos together.
Yeah, and there's copies of photos, and apparently it washes out the white light.
Have you seen the picture of the rock that makes it look like it's a stage where it's got like a C?
It's got like a prop number on it or a prop letter.
I didn't see that one.
So let me bring it up here.
While you're bringing that up, I want to just address that they aired this on national television, in 1969. So
the landing itself.
Everybody could sit there and watch and hear and listen to what the hell was going on. So, but my question is, why would you put that on national television? We've never been to the moon. We don't know if this is going to work. We don't know if these dudes are going to blow up or die, if they're going to get a space disease. We literally had no...
space AIDS.
We don't know. Like, why would you... I just don't think it was responsible of America to broadcast that on live television with the unknown factors that were at play there.
I think you're crazy. I mean, you sound like
if you're going to do it,
fear-mongering right there. Sounds like.
I mean, why would you
know what's going to happen?
What I'm getting to is, why were they so confident to make this on live television when knowing that these two dudes could blow up or whatever at any second?
Why would they blow up? Why would they think they would blow up? They're just coming down a ladder, they're landing on the moon. You know what I mean? They might blow up. It's the same thing with the Challenger when it exploded, or the Columbia whenever it blew.
Right?
Shit happens. It's science.
Okay. I think it's even more interesting that like Apollo 13,
I don't believe
they didn't televise it because they thought it would just be too boring and nobody wanted to see it. Remember that?
I did not.
Yeah.
If they were launching a manned mission to the moon,
they only put that on when something went wrong.
Tomorrow, I would make time to watch that little 10 minutes of them taking off, 5 minutes. If they were doing it tomorrow, a manned mission to the moon.
There's a really good video, too, that NVIDIA put out.
That is scary.
They went and modeled the entirety of, like, the famous photo of fucking Buzz Aldrin on the ladder coming down and all that. They went and modeled it completely from scratch and recreated all the light sources and are able to dynamically change shit so you can see where all the shadows are coming from, why the stars aren't there. They actually show you the exposure. They broke it down. They completely break it down. Nice. It actually looks like you're looking at a photo of it, like that picture. And then they turn it in 3 dimensions, like, this is not a fucking photo. This is a recreation. It's
so they've got all the Forge. They've got all the...
Yeah, they tech demoed it and recreated the whole thing. It's pretty cool. So look on that for NVIDIA moon landing hoax.
Nice.
Oh, here's that photo, Armand. It looks like a picture of a rock with a C on it.
So they see a C. Now, that would be a pretty amateurish mistake, don't you think?
That would be a pretty amateurish mistake. It could happen. I mean,
Sure. And there's that rock on Mars supposedly looks like a man's face. Have you seen that one? I mean, there's all...
So I had another...
here's another picture of that same rock, and you'll see this a lot, with no C on it.
Oh.
So what the thought is, that there was whenever they went to develop this
was picture C?
Yeah, the rock with the C on it. That there was a hair on the film or something like that whenever they went to redevelop it. Just a little artifact. So, again, that could be it.
Sure.
Could be.
So, also, they filmed them actually touching down the module hitting the water. Okay, there wasn't any GPS back then, but Everett already busted it with radar. I'm like, how the fuck did they know exactly where to be when they're coming in at 10,000 miles an hour, hot enough to burn up? You know what I mean? Like, you don't got much time to plan.
You're talking about the splashdown.
Yeah, how did they know right where to fucking film at?
They probably knew before they even came back.
It's the math, dude. The math.
Well, no shit. That's what I'm saying.
That blows my fucking mind. That people sit there and literally figure it out.
Are you amazed that it happened, or
no? I never took calculus. Yeah, no, I'm not amazed. I think it's really cool that if it did happen, that they did all of that without a fucking computer. That was what we're used to.
Did you
today.
ever use a graphing
T85
calculator? Would know what sine and tangent and cosine all that was? Did you ever have that?
No.
So, that stuff's pretty simple whenever you know the right math.
Right.
Again, it's all timing, knowing your speeds, and it's not exacts either. It's estimates of roughly in this window where shit'll be.
Okay, so estimate the percentage of the population that could plot the course to the moon with the type of accuracy required.
Back then?
It's not just that, though. It's probably leaving the Earth's atmosphere, resetting because you're doing orbits, and then jumping off to the moon, orbiting that, and then coming off at the exact same time. Wait, more than that. It's the lander hooking back up with the fucking... And then
it's certainly a marvel that we did it, but you have to understand, I mean, this is after about 7 or 8 years and all these Gemini and all, this didn't just happen overnight.
Right. What's the percentage of the population that can make a souffle and not have it fucking fall or whatever? You know what I mean?
Well, that's a fair point.
I'm not sure.
I guess that's
I'm not sure if the analogy is.
Well, yeah, it's not very
hard
fair,
to do, but it took a long time and a lot of resources,
a lot of training,
brain power. Right.
And that's what I asked him. I said, I wonder how long they fucking planned this for. Because if they did this shit in 6 months, this is equivalent to Armageddon.
Think about this: they've been shooting up satellites into space for 10+ years at this point. They got a pretty good idea of the ballistics for sending shit up and bringing it back down. So
right.
It's not like their first attempt was let's go to the moon first try. We'll get the gotchas on the way.
And they did they did the hookup practice. Like if you saw First Man, I mean, I still.
I haven't watched First Man. I really want to. I have a copy of it. I just haven't yet.
It's a little boring.
What I thought was kind of cool is after the third stage went out and they separate the command module and the service module from the lunar module. It comes away. They separate, flips around, then the cone of the control module connects back up to the lunar module. Then they take off together.
It does like a backwards somersault.
Whenever they get there, finally ejects the engineering behind it.
It is. That's what he said. It was when they explained it. I was just like, "Wow, dude!"
You marvel at.
But at the same time, even as an astronaut who's trained, most of these guys were Air Force pilots and whatnot, right? Would you even still go? Experimental planes are cool. They used to love doing the experimental planes, but that's a far cry from an experimental rocket hopping on top of it and going into space. At worst, you got crashed down on Earth. You're going to hit the ground. You're going to hit the water. In space, man,
you just skid away and
there's
off
no
into oblivion.
Yeah,
but I mean, we talked about that. I think is the most outrageous thing that they got guys to do this.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, these are.
What's the pitch that you got to tell these dudes? You know what I mean? Like, all right, we'll let you in the secret club. We'll give you millions of dollars. Like, all you got to do is go to the fucking moon.
Infamy, man. Fame, infamy, immortality.
That's what I said. You're going to be a hero. They really had to sell this, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, a lot of
you made a good point earlier with the dudes at Normandy at the beach.
Sure,
people lined right up to be.
Guys are challenging death all the time. You know, they're heroes. Plus, a lot of these test pilots. I mean, I don't know how many of the Germans when they were doing the V1 rockets. They had pilots on the damn thing, and those guys all died uniformly. Just to test the damn thing. So,
no thanks.
I think it was what's her name? Hannah Reich was the first one to actually do it.
Condoleezza Rice.
Hannah Reich. I got an Iron Cross for
Reich.
But yeah, after all that I wrote down about the trajectories and the math and everything, I just wanted to note that this was like the most ambitious project I've ever because they didn't when they took this on, we're gonna go to the moon. Like you said, it took 7 years to figure everything out. I didn't know that it took that long.
So you're saying you appreciate the balls?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it related to Armageddon. We've only got this much fucking time. We got what they did was insurmountable odds, and they bested them. You know what I mean?
Well, that weighs against maybe we didn't do it. I mean, that's what a lot of people say. It was impossible. We couldn't have done it.
Well, let me ask you this: what do you think the odds are that the first time Apollo 11 didn't actually go to the moon? Maybe one of the later Apollos did, but this first one could have been completely fake just to get it done.
Correct. I think that's Nick's contention.
Yeah,
he doesn't totally discount that we went at all, but he thinks 11, not a chance.
But it was imperative that we win the space race.
Right. It was timing.
I find that to be much more possible than it just didn't happen, but that's just me. What else we got here? Let's talk about Stanley Kubrick then.
Yeah, the Kubrick thing.
The best I could find out, like the best notion of his involvement wasn't that he directed it. It's that he was filming at the time 2001: A Space Odyssey over in London in MGM Studios. Old Donald Rumsfeld and Kissinger,
the same Donald Rumsfeld that announced the $2.3 trillion missing the day before 9/11.
He's been in a lot of administration.
I'm just saying. That's the same guy though.
But they supposedly contacted
allegedly
Stanley Kubrick, and he thought the idea was kind of funny, but wasn't really into it.
He wasn't into it.
And they just said, all right, come on, just leave the studio doors open. Let us get in there and use your studio for the weekend, and we'll be out by Monday.
Yeah, and tell him what the kicker was. Tell him what the kicker, allegedly.
So Kissinger plies old Kubrick with a little factoid that Dr. Strangelove is Nixon's favorite movie.
Oh, really?
So that was the
Again,
icing on the cake. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really buy that, but
and apparently didn't he drop a lot of? Now this is Nick's contention. I've heard this for years from him that he dropped a lot of hints in The Shining or whatever the other movies.
Yeah, The Shining, for instance. Danny is wearing the Apollo 11 shirt. It's got a rocket that says Apollo 11 on it. There's the room he went into, which in the book was originally room 218.
No, it's 237 because it was 237 miles.
Well, in the book it was originally 218, but the 237,000 to the moon, so he changed the room number to 237.
That's right.
And I don't know, there's a lot of, like, you can get on YouTube and find these videos about people making all
Everett and I didn't really want to repeat a lot of them because there's the majority of them are like, that's a fucking stretch.
Well, it's like the number 23. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 6 is 12.
12 is divided by 3 and you get 4 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Oh my god. Yeah, like you can just you can go on forever with those sort of
the numerology.
Yeah, it's
fascinating stuff.
Is it?
Yeah, right. Is it or is it? Or are you just making things up in your head with this stuff?
I'm being sarcastic.
It's like Mad Lib math.
It's actually funny how they twist things. I'd love to hear Nick do it. I try to encourage him.
We got a buddy that does it too. I won't name his name right now, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 means this. 2 box squared, and so.
Yeah, it's great. I mean.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, 23 chromosomes. And
so the
chromosome pairs.
The Stanley Kubrick thing. So a lot of people say that he filmed the moon landing in the studio in Area 51. So that's like something that I've heard. Yeah, obviously, don't fucking buy that.
Well, NASA actually had a recreated set for training of the moon. You know what I mean?
And that's fact.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
they could have filmed it there as well, but again, there's been no proof that it was done anywhere other than the moon.
Well, that just goes to. Do you think? I mean, I think there's like 400,000 people directly involved in this, or at least peripherally involved.
Estimated, yeah.
Right.
If this were a cover up, how many people would have to?
You think they could keep that a secret? Are you kidding me?
No, dude.
In our government.
What is it? Jessica asked the real reason we haven't gone back.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a useless mission, and we need to know that's why. I agree. It is a useless mission, and we do know what we need to know about the moon. Why bother going back?
No harvestable resources.
I think we will go back, but I think it's going to be private. I think space is going to be a private.
It'd be a good jumping off point to, say, Mars or other. You know, it's a good place for a base, but we don't have a reason for that base yet. We're not going to Mars often enough. We're not trying to go out and farm these asteroids and get their materials and minerals off.
It's not an active area that we need to put a base at right now. You know what I mean? Reason. So it's like...
Cost prohibitive.
But don't you think, I mean, I've gone over this over and over again. Like I said, I'm 55 years old. When I was a kid.
By the way, hello, Jessica. It's been a while.
Yeah, and my stocks are doing better, Jessica. Now I'm just poor, not broke. But when I was a kid in high school, and a Voyager, this is a little before you guys' time, I thought, well,
you were in high school in the 70s?
Passing Jupiter, 77, passing Jupiter or whatever. And I thought, wow, by the time I'm 55, I'll probably be able to go to Jupiter.
You used to think that.
Boy, what a disappointment these guys have been.
Why would you want to go to Jupiter?
I'm just saying. I mean, 40 years later, you would think that we would have been going to different planets and shit.
Back to the future.
At least Mars.
Back to the future, man. 2015 was way different than it really was 3 years ago.
Did you see Back to the Future 2 where they went to the future?
30 years ahead of 1985. Are you fucking serious, Armand? You watch all these crazy old movies and you don't watch Back to the Future?
I'd rather watch James Cagney break out of the big house. I don't care about that.
Each their own. But
I'm just saying, don't you guys, well, I don't know. You guys aren't as old as I am, but
I
thought 40 years from now, we're going to be on Mars. I mean, there's going to be some really cool shit.
Let's look at it this way. No, we didn't make it 40 years from like 76 or whatever. We didn't make it back to the moon or Mars or any other planets. But think about the shit we did get. We got the internet. We got reliable cellular phone or wireless phone and communications technology.
We've talked about that technology curve. So, like, as it's getting better, say maybe 1969's here, we're here now. After so much time, though, it just gets to where it's the technology curve.
All right,
I can't remember what we talked about.
What kind of propulsion are we going? Here's that pegging joke again. You guys are...
Well, anyway, Armand's going to Uranus. Somebody's coming to Armand's.
But what do you think about, I mean, propulsion? I don't think we're going a hell of a lot faster than we went back then, right?
I mean, there's only so fast.
It's still chemical explosion.
Ion propulsion, but still.
Well, yeah,
but that's not active use yet, though, right?
Well, in atmosphere, you've got ramjet, but in space, you've got two different types of,
solar sail
not in use, is it? I didn't think
that's how the Voyagers.
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
The solar sail is supposed to be...
Yeah, but nobody's using that yet.
Or even nuclear, the
nuclear propulsion where you basically blow it up against the plate on one side and it fucking Newton's second law.
Right.
But even then, how fast is it going to go? I mean, even if we go...
You need the Albuquerque air drive, the warp drive.
Of the speed of light?
So they've actually the best bet to get up to the closest speed of light, what they're going to do is do the space sails, but they're going to use a laser to propel them. So what they're going to do is put a bunch of these very small space sails out in orbit or out past orbit any which way, and shine a fucking laser up there to hit these space sails that have a very small like telemetry, sensor data package with it, and send it off. They think they can get up over above a quarter of the speed of light by using a laser just to fucking.
And how much payload? I mean, you can't put humans on
grams,
it.
Like
that's
small.
Fine. Even that, I'll go for that.
I don't understand that at all.
So imagine you how something's on a parachute and falling down to Earth, right?
Okay.
Or if you take a leaf blower and blow back up,
okay,
it takes off like that. Imagine that in space, where you use a laser instead of a leaf blower to hit that fucking sail.
And is it the?
Oh, that's me.
Is it the light that's creating? I mean, or is it so? It's
so a solar sail at this point picks up on basically the solar wind. The particles.
I'm looking for an honest explanation.
The particles that come off the sun, the photons, any type of particles that come off the sun, hit this foil, basically a foil, set up as a sail, and give it over time nudges. Since you don't lose speed in space because there's nothing pushing back,
right?
Every one of these little particles catches up or pushes you a little bit faster. Same thing with an ion engine.
It goes a quarter of the speed of light?
They think they can get it going up to the quarter of the speed of light using a laser to fucking...
Here.
So the photon smashing into the foil sail is what's giving this extra thrust.
Right. What can we do with that? Can we send a sensor or something?
That's basically what they're going to send is like telemetry packages, sensor packages and whatnot.
Well, quarter of the speed of light. Now you're talking, we're going to get somewhere.
You can get places at that.
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's the newest thing I've read about. Well, it's not Jupiter. I think they're heading for like Alpha Centauri.
Well, that's still going to take.
Well, it's 4 light years
away. 15 years.
Well, 20 years probably, but
yeah,
speed up time and all that. But
and that's at a quarter of the speed of light, providing that some human or even our equipment can withstand that sort of fucking G-force. Like, do we know if that's going to be a possibility?
They wouldn't try. They would design it to stand that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like they're not going to let's make this out of Tupperware and add our laser sail and send it and see if it goes.
Well, sure,
I know. Small thing. I mean, and they also talk about, and I think with the moon landing, they talk about these guys getting hit by micro asteroids and shit. But the odds of that are astronomically against.
Well, especially out in interstellar space.
Right. That's what.
Once you get in interstellar, there's not a lot out there. Or going around the Earth, it's a lot more common with all the space debris we put
up there.
Like even remember what was it? Empire Strikes Back, where they're going through the asteroid field. Those asteroids are thousands and thousands of kilometers.
They say you can head off towards the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, and just any direction, and the chances of actually hitting an asteroid are fucking slim to none.
Right.
Huh.
They're that far apart.
They're far apart. I mean, when you see
they're dense for the area, for space.
Right. They're
thousands of
relatively
kilometers apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But it makes for better cinema if they're,
of course.
You got to dodge. And it was a good video game, too.
Let me ask you this. Do you guys
Star Wars?
Asteroids.
Oh.
It was kind of
before your time.
No.
You spin around in the middle.
I played asteroids.
Dude.
I played asteroids. You think we didn't have an Atari 2700 or 2600 when we were fucking kids? Of course I played asteroids. Space Invaders, Frogger, the whole night.
You have to pay a quarter for it.
Was it Bomberman? No. What's the one with the little
Kaboom?
Defender.
Kaboom. There it is.
Defender.
Defender.
Anywho, do you think it's worth going back for any reason? Like right now, just for a scientific purpose?
For what do we have to learn? What do we have to gain? And what do we need to do? Like, if we're just going back to shut people up that think we didn't go there, fuck you, man. Keep those interesting videos coming. And, believe what you want. But if there's some real reason, like if we figure out there's a mineable resource, or if we need to control that area because of a conflict, whatever, once there becomes a reason...
Then give me the reason, and then we'll tell you if it's
exactly. Yeah, but as of right now, I couldn't see a reason that we would need to. What are we so overpopulated on Earth that we have to send people there? No.
Let me ask you, what's the difference between that and Mars?
Well,
Mars is
the reward is much better in Mars. I agree, but
yeah, because you can sustain sustain a population on Mars.
For what you can do on Mars, you can do on the Moon. What's the difference?
I'm not sure about that.
Well, yeah, I don't think so.
There's a slight atmosphere on Mars.
Yeah, and
that's not.
I think
there's
water on the Moon.
So you're 6 times lighter on Mars. You're 6 times lighter on the Moon because it's 1/6 of the Earth's atmosphere.
I
would say that your gravity on Mars is a little bit more is a little bit more like Earth.
That doesn't matter.
The adjustment phase. It'd be easier to inhabit than it would be on fucking the Moon.
Do you think
that's your transition would be easier?
Do you think NASA gives two shits about that?
I don't think. Well, I was just going to say, I don't think NASA's going to. The future of space exploration and that sort of thing is private.
You think
Elon Musk is going to do it before
SpaceX
NASA
and all that.
Right.
All the major, renovations that are revolutionary things that have happened, I think, are more now SpaceX, etc. What has NASA done? They don't even. All they do is study climate change.
I'm going to get political. We're too busy throwing money at a wall. Just saying.
What does NASA do? I mean, now the Webb telescope, I'm all for that. But other than that.
Frank Reynolds makes a great point in the chat. He says, start spreading rumors that there's oil on the Moon, and we'll be there. You know what I mean?
We'll go to Titan for that.
The Moon needs some fucking freedom, bud. We'll go liberate it. Install a dictatorship.
Well, that's right. That's profitable. Yeah. And that's the next thing, though. It's going to be this space tourism. And once you get that going, and it's safe, people are going to try to go to the Moon for $1 million, and then you're going to get people to do that.
It's iterative. Like for now, we'll start out with low Earth orbit, and then we'll go to the Moon, and then it's Mars. You don't like.
What's your time frame for this?
When do I think we'll have that?
Will I see it?
When will we be able to get on a shuttle and go to the Moon with barely a week or two notice?
Not in our lifetimes.
You don't think so?
No. I do not think so.
Wow,
there's no reason for anybody.
40 years. I mean,
tell me what company at this point could make any money back on something like that in any short time. There's
they're already doing it, aren't they? Booking like low or
but they're not.
Yeah, the first 2 private people. They're not giving their names away, but have already paid the money
right
for the first private space flight.
And that's what 62. I think it's
Russia's
62 and a half miles.
100
kilometers is considered space.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So they're going out that far, right?
That's
okay.
If you could drive your car up, like straight up, how long would it take you to get to the atmosphere?
At what speed?
Fucking 65.
Highway speeds, an hour.
An hour. Yeah, it just that's crazy.
It's not that far.
I know, but
Carmen
it seems
line.
like it's not that far.
Oh,
An hour to drive in a car is a long fucking way in a straight line. I feel like from like just so if you're going up, I mean,
it'll take but 10 miles and you're pretty much
dark. The clouds don't look.
Well, I think escape velocity is like 25,000 miles per hour or something.
17,000
to escape the atmosphere.
Maybe it's kilometers. I was thinking that.
It could be.
Yeah.
So what happens if you aren't going that fast and you're still going straight up? What happens? Like, what if you can't escape?
Well, eventually you're just like you only have so much thrust to get up. You'll just hit equilibrium and be like floating. You know what I mean?
Run out of fuel and come back down.
It's right. It's like how like if you're on Earth or like you just hovering like with a Harrier jet until you give it extra juice, you're sitting in one spot due to how thick the atmosphere is and how much thrust you're putting down. You know, I mean, you got to overcome gravity. You got to overcome how much
thrust to weight ratio is what you're talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's lift and thrust has to be greater than drag and
gravity. Basically,
or load.
Drag is gravity. Gravity is drag, right?
No, drag is like turbulent friction.
Air.
The friction of air.
Right.
Oh,
Mass
okay,
is that's what you're. But I think when they put things in orbit, though, they eventually get the angle so much that you're just basically in a constant free fall. It's a different angle.
Right.
But anyway, so you think it's going to take that long though to get?
I think so. I don't see.
Moon?
I think we could do it quicker, but I don't see any reason any company anytime soon is going to put the money it's going to take to do that. Low Earth orbit, sure.
Once it gets to be profitable, and I think that's coming because when you can reuse these,
you know what it costs right now to put a pound of shit in space, according to NASA, and this is probably a little. It cost them $10,000 to put a kilogram.
Right, but that's going down. That's going.
I'm sure it's gone down.
When you can reuse and that's why these guys that are private industry got the right idea. Reuse the damn thing. Don't splash down and destroy it.
Yeah. Right.
That's once they get that.
You get something like a space elevator built. Now we're talking making it a lot easier. You know what space elevator is, right?
An elevator with a cable and the whole thing.
Yeah, it's basically a cable right up in space. It's so far out that it's swinging at such a speed that's got the tension to keep it up there, and you just run cars up and down.
Have you ever seen a map of an interactive map of all of this space debris that's being tracked by NASA constantly? Have you ever seen that?
No, I'm sure.
Pull that up real quick for Armand. And when I look at this, all I can think is aliens are going to come here and go, we can't fucking make contact with these people. There's no way we're going to survive that, first off. And then number two, the future generations of Earth are going to go, what fucking assholes littered like this? You know what I mean? It'll be equivalent to throwing your soda can on the ground, in front of...
It ain't that bad, dude. Again, it's the same thing.
Are you looking at that?
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture, but these images here, it's not the scale.
It's not the scale, yeah.
If you had if those specs were that size, you're talking those are each the size of a city.
How fast are they going?
They
can do enough destructive damage for a fucking piece this big.
The distance between them is
Didn't they eject the whole fucking bottom 3 stages of the rockets off, and you're telling me they're that small?
What are you trying to say?
My point is that there's so much shit floating around the fucking Earth at all time, just everywhere. You got satellites, you got all this space trash.
Yeah.
How the fuck are aliens going to get down here and talk to us
with
the fucking dangerous course they got to plot?
Like that picture I just showed you, that's not to scale. They're not that dense. They're not that close. Even if they get hit like by a piece of...
You been to space?
Oh, God damn it. Here we go again.
Aliens?
You ignorant
Come on.
fuck.
I don't know about that point. Who cares?
It's exactly what we were talking
about our trash.
The asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them there.
Right.
But not that many. They're not that big.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, right. You'll go.
So you'd never hit one?
No, they hit the shuttle and shit all the time, but they don't do the destruction you think it does.
Yeah.
A piece of metal, a 2-ounce piece of metal going at fucking 20,000 miles an hour wouldn't
Let me ask you
fucking
this.
drive through
Speed
something?
in space is relative. So if you're going 17,000 mile an hour, and here comes another thing going 17,000 mile an hour, and it just kind of bounces off of you, you're all going in the same fucking rotation here.
So you're saying everything around the Earth goes in the same exact rotation?
No.
It's all going clockwise or some shit,
well,
right?
Yes. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what I'm asking.
Well, that's what I'm asking you, though. The aliens aside,
they have shields anyway.
Is it a hazard to our space program?
I would think, right? Eventually, like if there's going to be, when's it going to be?
I don't know. I wouldn't think it's that big of a deal.
They're tracking over what 10,000 objects or something. They have to track because they're dangerous enough to cause.
I think
damage.
what's much more dangerous would be these little micro meteorites and everything flying around at whatever, and that's what they're worried about, especially going to Mars. I mean, those things that can really screw things up.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think the space debris is another one of those. Yeah. Again, it's a problem, but it's another one of those things people latch onto. Like you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? It's one of those.
Some asshole with the math skills is going to plot the course to get right through.
This isn't the Kessel Run.
Everything. It might be.
You know what I mean? We're not going between black holes here.
Han Solo could do it.
Could he?
Yeah, he could get from Earth to the moon.
All right.
I think that is true, though. I mean, isn't that? I mean, assuming you're going the speed of. Well, anyway, your mass messes you up and everything. There's all kinds of problems when you get up like 0.9 of speed.
Oh, relativistic speeds?
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird problems.
So that's, I guess, that's the point. Are we ever going to get? Are we ever going to get to the nearest star or anything? Ever?
Hard to say. I mean, I would say not doing it in physical space. We'd have to figure out the trick to bending space or going into like a hyperspace.
That's a question for Armand, Jeffrey.
There's no such thing as global warming.
Yeah,
we all know that.
Tough crowd.
That's an interesting question, though. Would
you see much snow this winter?
Not much. Not here.
No.
Have you checked the Arctic
ice sheet? Used to snow all the time, didn't it?
It's horribly small.
Are you kidding me?
Just ask NASA.
Just ask Al Gore.
There you go.
All right.
All right. You guys got anything else?
No.
Well, I mean, okay. Was it worth it? I guess.
Was it worth going to the moon?
Was it worth it?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did we get out of it that was worth it? Just
I don't know what it cost to go to the moon, so I don't know what it was worth.
I guess the first question is, did we go? That's what the whole.
No, I think you should start it out and preface it with, if we went to the moon, would the cost be worth it? I don't know what it cost. So how would I know if it was worth it or not?
Did we go?
Yeah, did we go first? Or is this all a big ruse?
I don't know. I have no idea if we went. I wasn't there. Wasn't even alive.
I think
Your opinion.
My opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not enough. I don't know, man, because there's good points on both sides, and I don't want to commit to either.
So what point has convinced you we didn't, though? What's the most salient point?
That convinced me we didn't?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what makes you actually think that's even a possibility?
Just like the crazy insurmountable odds of everything that had to be completely perfect, and just everything seemed to go. And even though they had issues,
we had the technological capability to do it.
Yeah, it was like whatever it said. It was with a calculator. They went to the moon with a fucking calculator, dude.
I mean, no, they had real computers, but they.
Yeah,
but they were the processing computing power of a fucking calculator, right?
What do you need with the right programs? Tell me this.
I don't know.
It's not like you're playing Doom.
Why don't we ask our listener? Everybody listen.
Yeah, what do you guys think, man? Do you guys think that we went?
Yes or no?
You can do these calculations on paper. You know what I'm saying?
I can't.
They can be. Let me rephrase. They can be done on paper.
I think they can. Slide rules, etc.
Yeah, well, it's simple trigonometry and whatnot. So if you can do it on paper, you don't need a super complex piece of several transistors to do this calculations for you. It's not that crazy to think they could do it.
Well, I see. I can't change your mind, and you're not going to change mine. I'm an American, and I don't have to change mine.
I think it's astounding, but I don't think it's as impossible as you seem to think it is. I mean, I've taken some pretty high level.
I'm not
math,
donkey brained,
and I'm not very bright, but I can figure out some, pretty basic.
So I'm not donkey brained, but I'm not the smartest dude in the world.
Would you stop with the fucking pop culture things? Nobody gets it. Armand don't get it. It annoys me. Donkey brained. Fuck, you are donkey brained.
You're donkey brained.
Oh,
but what'd you say?
You're a donkey fuck.
All right, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Somebody got mad.
I just don't like your.
Somebody got mad.
We're trying to have the end of the show discussion here, and you can't do nothing but
because I just told you. He asked me if I thought the moon landing happened. I said I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't have enough evidence either way.
But then you start throwing out all these memes. That's what's annoying.
Conflicted.
You're trying to do all these fucking stupid Always Sunny quotes.
Well, he asked me what was the most evidence. The evidence.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, nobody knows but him.
It doesn't matter if you guys get it. I got it.
Okay. No, so you're saying you're like 50-50 that we went, or
I don't know because there's not been enough evidence to sway me either way on the subject. I will admit the possibility that we didn't go is completely there, and the possibility that we went is completely there.
Because the odds against it were so great because of our abilities at that time,
and when you start
technological abilities.
Exactly, when you start throwing out theories like we did get to the moon, but we couldn't do it then, it's like, man, that sounds fucking plausible.
Do you think we're capable of it now? If we wanted to go, could we? Do we have the capability?
I mean, I want to think, yeah, of course. I assume that. Well, fuck, man, look at the technology we've got now. We fucking better be able to get to the moon now. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have anything available to us at the time that, like...
But it seems like to you the most daunting thing would be the figures, the math itself, and the logistics. I'm not sure...
Well, he has trouble with multiplication, so...
like, somebody's still mad.
Boy.
But I'm just saying, though, like...
That's an ad hominem. Logical.
I think it's a sign of a good person where you can admit where their shortcomings are, and mine is in that sort of math. Okay.
Also, you can have.
I admit that it can be done, but it's hard for me to look at that and know that
Yeah, but to me, something much more fantastic would be a guy like Albert Einstein sitting around and thinking, hey, wait a minute, what if I were a beam of light? And figuring out
totally agree.
Universal laws of gravitation and shit from sitting in a chair and just doing it in his head.
Yeah, no, that's amazing too.
Right, exactly. That to me is more amazing to say, well, we got to get this far and go this fast, and here's the angle of approach, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's pretty simple shit if you ask me. It's ballistic.
Well, not simple, but I think brilliant minds could do that. They could.
No, I totally think they can too.
those
I
odds.
just say that looking at it from my perspective, like as someone that can't do that sort of math and wouldn't know how to calculate those sort of
it's
equations.
Foreign to me too, and I've had a lot of math.
And looking at it, going like, obviously, when you look at something you don't understand, it's kind of like, wow, dude,
it's
that's
magic, right? Is
well,
that
it's
what Arthur C. Clarke says?
Yeah, but I'm not even calling it magic. I'm just saying that to me, it's like, wow, that looks super hard. I mean.
But that to me invites the question, doesn't beg the question because that's not important. That's not the way it should be used.
Okay.
Invites the question, why the hell haven't we done more stuff? I mean, these guys did something almost miraculous. How come we haven't done anything miraculous lately?
I think we covered it, though, because when they did that, it was damn near a suicide mission, in my opinion.
We had a reason to do it before. It's because the commies were doing it.
Right. Is the juice worth the squeeze is the question. Like, what are we getting out of going back there? You know what I mean? Like, is it worth going back to spend the money, the research, everything that we've got to do?
I say leave it. I say get rid of NASA anyway, or let the private industry do whatever.
Well, NASA can't hold any patents, right? And I think they're responsible for coming up with like a bunch of shit that they didn't have before we had the space program because they invented things that we needed. You know what I
that's
mean?
always the question is, what if we have done that anyway in private industry? I mean, look at all the computerization. Wozniak and Jobs, they didn't need NASA to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting back to
fair.
Our socialist argument again.
Yeah,
that's why I say keep the government out of all that stuff. But I mean, all right, will we get to Mars then? Or did we already say that? You're not in our lifetime, huh?
I mean,
didn't Musk say he's sending somebody in 2021?
We might make it, but we're not colonizing it. And I don't think we're going to get to the point where space tourism is a thing in our lifetime. That's what I mean. You're never going to the moon. You're never going to Mars personally.
Will we have to terraform
We are too poor. We're never going either.
That's true.
So
would we have to terraform the atmosphere at Mars? Like, you can't breathe that fucking air, right? Like,
you can't terraform. We don't have the technology even close to think about terraforming.
Right, but that would be a requirement to live outside versus living in a fucking box.
You can't live outside on Mars.
Okay, that's what I'm getting.
But it's not just atmosphere.
Etc.
Mars doesn't have a spinning core like we have. It doesn't have a metal core, so it's not making an electromagnetic field. Yeah. So all the radiation from space is still going to be pounding you. So not only do you got to have atmosphere to breathe, you got to have some sort of electromagnetic field to keep you from getting cancer, because that's a big deal. Not a lot of chemo on Mars.
Yeah, but there's no food. Well, there's no food, so you could fast.
That's right. You can live a long time.
Did you see The Martian with Matt Damon? I'm sure you probably
a lot of mistakes in that movie.
A little bit. I heard it was scientifically inaccurate.
Yeah, that's.
But
it was still interesting to watch, just for the fantasy of going there and how a person could possibly try to survive if they were left there on accident or by whatever circumstances.
So you think your kids are going to get to the moon?
It's possible.
You remember that?
I don't see why a person would even want to go into space as a thing to do, like something fun. How is that fun? What are you doing?
Well, like in Interstellar, I don't know why this made me think of it. It's not super on the topic there, the point that you guys are making. But remember when that guy, I think it was actually Matt Damon, fudged his data so that they would come get him? Because they went to separate planets. Who was the guy that
Interstellar was Matthew McConaughey?
I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about when they went down to that planet and she found that guy that had originally went to this planet to see what it was at. He fudged his data so they would come back to investigate this good planet for Earth to move to. I don't remember who that guy was, though.
I don't recall that at all.
I thought it was Matt Damon.
I don't know.
Oh, Matt Damon was on. It was in there. Yeah, but
he was that captain that ended up crying that fucked him.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that now. I don't recall. He may be right.
Did you guys? I assume you guys did an Area 51 show
several times.
What do you think about that? What was the conclusion you reached on that?
Is Area 51 real? Is that the question?
Is there an actual alien or something? Do they have? Because isn't that one of the arguments that they found this stuff and that's what helped us get to the moon?
They reverse engineered alien.
Right, we never would have done it on our own.
Seen the movie Independence Day? Every bit of technology we've had since the 40s has come from reverse engineered alien technology.
Right. Well, what do you put a stock in that theory?
No,
I don't know.
I'm asking.
I don't think so. I don't think so, but you never know. But I don't think so, because I think that's just like secret military technology. It's where they developed like the Blackbird, which is the radar invisible plane. You know what I mean? Like that they developed that there, and most stuff that they don't want anyone else knowing about is developed there. You know what I mean? So that's why you can't like go within miles of the fucking base. They have those like crazy flying shit at night. Where they testing these planes. Mm-hmm. So I don't know, man. Maybe if we got an alien there, they ain't gonna fucking tell us anyway.
So if we had, all right, if somebody came up with a, say Trump or the next president or whatever said, listen, I'm going to be like Kennedy, and by the end of this decade, I want to put people on Mars.
Okay.
I don't care what it costs, and I whatever. We got to do it. Would you be for that?
If I was convinced of some impending doom or that it was a requirement for our species to survive, I would totally be for it.
Nothing
same
like
thing
that.
as
Just to do it.
Have to
because,
have
not because
a
it's
wall.
easy, but because it's hard. Well, that's what Kennedy said. We're doing, I'm just saying.
So like, what is? We just talked about like the risk and the reward. What's the what are we gaining by doing this and sending people to Mars to die? I mean, I don't understand. Are we trying to preserve our population to?
No.
Multi-planet?
What do we gain by any export? What do we gain by putting the Hubble out there? What is gained from that? Except
we
knowledge.
learned a
It's
ton.
knowledge.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we're just learning shit.
We want to
then
send people to Mars to see
Okay.
if they can survive and if it's a viable, something.
See, that's the thing about it. We could build. It's a matter of money. We could get to Mars, right? We could.
Yeah, totally could.
You guys are sure we could do that?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Easily.
I couldn't.
I don't know about that.
You throw 100.
I mean, right, yeah, not you. Right.
Answer me this: you throw $100 billion at any project, it's getting done.
It's getting done.
So one way or another, if it's just money, yes, we can get there. Can we build something that can sustain humans on Mars? Easily. I just think it's a matter of
So you think
money.
we could?
At this point, yes. It's how much money it costs now versus how much we cost in 50 years from now.
So we could, but we're not going to.
No, hell no. Republicans are going to go, you could buy 20 walls with that $100 billion. What are you doing?
Let me ask you this. Why isn't it any better to send a man or a woman or human to Mars than it is another probe? What is the difference to you?
I don't know. The probe doesn't have like a live system. Like we won't get effects on a human.
Well, what good is a human? A human doesn't have near the sensor capabilities that a probe has. You can just walk around and look. You're not going out with the ability to scoop fucking dirt up, blow on it, you know what I mean, and look at what's in there, do any kind of chemical analysis. Basically, you're going there to collect samples to take back to your laboratory that your roving laboratory could be doing already for you.
Okay, so isn't there something that happens to your bones when you're in space for a long time?
Yeah,
sure, we can figure out anatomy differences and shit.
I wonder if we knew about that just from reading sensor data before somebody come back with the issue.
All right, so I guess the point we're making is it inevitable that man eventually is going to go into space and colonize another planet?
If we want to, if humanity wants to survive,
we have to be a
the sun
multi-planet
blows,
species.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that's not going to help. We're all done. What do you think?
Out of the solar system, right?
Okay,
so, but if you want to get out of the solar system, you got to crawl before you walk.
All right, so then you do think it's worth it, then, right?
If your goal is to get out of the solar system, yes, you have to get inside the solar system first.
Right. That to me implies that you think it's worth it.
Yeah, but again, we're going under the premise here that they're going to tell us exactly why we're doing it. We're talking about like mostly government, but if you're doing it privately and somebody's got a good agenda, I don't know. I could get behind it. I totally can be convinced.
I would say that it's more likely in the billions of years before the sun goes, expands into a red giant.
Right. But we're going to hit by an asteroid.
It's more likely that we come up with matter teleportation than it is we come up with a way to physically traverse space. In those distances, in that amount of time,
either that
why
or
bother
some kind of
traversing?
interdimensional kind of travel.
Exactly. Some sort of non-physical travel is way more likely than figuring out we've got a fucking spaceship that flies places now. Why bother with that? That just seems crazy.
When you make that point, I think I would rather go for that. You put all your resources into some kind of propulsion
or interdimensional travel or some sort of, I think actual physical propulsion is the worst way to go about it because you've got all the time involved. Then you've got like subluminal problems like time dilation. So if you're going at 0.9% of the speed of light, like
I think it's still only half or whatever, 8.9.
It's not dilating that much. It's a crazy fucking curve.
No, then it's like 10,000 years for every year.
Time dilation's a crazy fucking thing too. Like
but you got to get really close before it makes a big difference.
Right.
Like I think even like if you go half the speed of light, it's only a few. Maybe not much.
So that's like Everett's issue here. Nobody said I had a fucking issue. I just said you had a fucking issue. So Everett's issue is he fails to see what other people can't understand. So like me, like that time dilation.
How is that my issue if you can't understand something?
Because you're intolerant about it.
So
me telling you that I don't get that math and saying that's like, to me, looking at that trajectories and stuff is a hard thing to accomplish. And you're over here going, well, no, what if I can? And I'm just like, look. It might not be for you. Right. So that's what I'm getting at here.
Well, I mean, to look at something from only your own point of view, I mean,
that's what you do.
It was a tremendous undertaking. I think we all agree on that. And maybe if you told me, in 1960, if we were sat here and said, what are the odds that we get to the moon by
in 10 years?
I probably would have bet against it. Probably would give you odds against it.
Yeah.
But they said we could never fly too, and the Wright brothers with 1903, for God's sake, did it.
Right.
So
let's look at it
we've done a lot of things that are pretty technologically astounding.
All of the problems we've had where we've lost people in these manned space flights weren't over a trajectory. You know what I mean? They weren't over some fuck up in math or this or that. It's because a heat fucking tile blew off or some little
the
gizmo malfunction.
Caught fire, Apollo 1.
Right.
Stupid little shit.
The easiest part of all of this, I think, is the math involved. You know what I mean? It's building something to tolerance and making sure some asshole wasn't sleeping on the job that day and forgot to screw down a screw, I think is the biggest problems we're going to have.
Wouldn't you agree, though, Eric, if 20 years ago, if you would have said, I've got this, and what we can do with this.
That's a fair point, Armand.
I would have told you you're out of your fucking mind.
Right.
I never would have thought
that.
Well,
like, how can we, like you were just saying, we build something to know that it can withstand this. So, like, getting that exponential in force to go a quarter of the speed of light, we can't make anything go like that in order to test what a fucking big metal thing will do at a quarter of the speed of light, right? So we have to
start out at 0.01.
I'm saying getting to the moon, that's hard to do, but we did it. But boy, getting to the next planet or getting out of the damn solar system, even though I guess I was fatuous enough to believe we could when I was a kid, I guess those are insurmountable. Well, I mean, you're taking people though. Yeah. That is an insurmountable obstacles. They're just too great. The damn distances are too damn far.
Yeah, you can't pack along enough food or even a way to make food.
And all the radiation, all these other things we're talking about that add up. And it's,
I mean, again, I think
Mars,
we could.
It's almost
I think we could, honestly.
Possible.
A lot of these movies,
it's just money.
With
Mars, you think?
I think we can make it to the edge of the solar system. We could build a capsule
with man.
Again, it's going to cost a lot of money. That's basically a life ship that you can get out there, have your hydroponic bays, grow your own food, and live long enough out in space. All you're basically
rotating for regular gravity.
All you're basically doing is making a space RV. You know what I mean? All you got to do is get it into space, and you're good to go.
Water
you can come up with ways to keep the radiation out. It's a cost of money. You know what I mean? And what you're getting out of it.
That makes good sense what you said, though. $100 billion in any fucking project will get it done. I bet if you put $100 billion to get humans to the outer edge of the solar system,
and it might take 40 years with current technology.
I want you guys to think about this. $100 billion is wasted by Medicare every year.
Agreed.
Total just waste.
Yep.
Doctors screwing Medicare.
Right.
So it's, I wish we,
how much you get out of
that? Not enough. And I lost it all in the market.
Here's NASA's budget for 2019 is $20 billion.
$20 billion.
The entirety of NASA.
Right.
Entirety of NASA.
But I think, I don't see why we couldn't have a Manhattan Project to do whatever. I mean, figure out what you want to do. Now, I would say
Manhattan
cure
Project
cancer,
had a goal.
for God's sake. That's what I put $100 billion in that. I don't care how much you put into it. Cure cancer or aging even.
You could do that. I think you could.
I wish we could, but we don't.
Well, again,
look at how much money we blow.
Well, there's more money for something like cure cancer. There's only really from a scientific point of view to fund that, a company has to have a return, and there's more of a return on treating cancer.
About the government doing it though.
Well, government
like the Manhattan Project.
They get fucking again. The Manhattan Project had a really good goal though. Win the war, create the bomb, win the war.
Yeah, but that's pretty daunting back then in 1942.
Daunting, but there's a goal.
We could make a nuclear weapon and make it work.
Oh yeah, what got my mind blew when we first learned out how those work.
But if we were
Einstein thought it was impossible.
Let me say this: if we were in a war with Russia right now, or whoever, some axis of powers, and we knew that the answer was on the moon to get there, the trick we needed was on the moon to get there. Like maybe that's where we had to go to build our weapon to take them out. As long as we have the goal, we'll throw money at it till we get it.
Yeah,
but if there's not a goal that going to the moon or Mars satisfies,
somebody's bringing up CERN. What's the goal of CERN?
To figure out the fundamental
what holds reality together.
Right. And what happens when we do that?
Well, then we know.
Right?
Without figuring that shit out, we can't do those extra dimensional portals and stuff we were talking about. You got to have an understanding of that.
Got to crawl before you walk, Armand.
Yeah, but wouldn't you think that? Okay, but taking that, now I don't know how much that costs, but I'm sure it's a significant amount.
A lot.
Okay. Wouldn't you rather put into anti-aging research or just, like I said?
Well, so I don't know if that anti-aging thing is even possible because your cells have like a half-life, right? Don't they split? And they can only split so many times. And
with
that's
money, anything's possible.
The telomeres, though. The telomeres.
Exactly. The end caps of DNA, they wear off over time, and your DNA basically at that point can no longer replicate.
I guarantee you brought up $100 billion. I'd say if you put $100 billion into an anti-aging campaign, or even $2 trillion, why not? The budget's $4 trillion.
What
put a quarter of our GDP instead of bullshit and throwing it away, which we do. Put it into science. I mean, all science.
Why not? In a fraction of the time,
we never would do it because people would be asking why.
But you don't even agree with science, though, right? You're against all the science behind climate change, right?
I think, yeah, but that's not science.
But
that's
they put
bullshit.
$1 trillion into climate change science.
They do. They do.
See Armand lose his fucking mind.
They do. Annually, about $1 trillion when you're talking about all these carbon credits and all the, like Tesla gets, all these,
right.
tax credits. Yeah, $1 trillion. That's why I hate it. Because if we put it into anti-cancer, we could actually save human beings' lives.
Yeah, fair enough.
Look what we do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Byron.
Or figure out how to stop people from getting cancer.
At the end of the day, it's
instead of curing it.
I would say a lot of it is personal interest that drives this sort of shit. Is like Elon Musk is interested in space. He finds that really interesting. And above and beyond the money, that's the type of thing you need a person who has that
dreamer.
drive, a dreamer to do that sort of shit. But for the most part, if I was on Elon Musk's board and he says, I want to go to space because I want to go to space, I'm like, yeah, you're fired. I don't care if you started this company or not.
Damn right, Chris. That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't just do shit to do shit.
Well, the question is, though, where are our priorities? And you brought up climate change. To do all these studies on climate change and have absolutely nothing come out of it except, okay, I'll grant you, we have climate change. We're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
China is building a new coal-fired plant every 8 days. So what the hell's the difference? Okay, it exists. It's going to kill us all. Okay, get rid of it. Stop spending money on it and start spending money on what we're talking about. Our priorities are all screwed up. That's the problem with government getting involved in anything because they want to buy votes. They don't give a shit about it.
We need a one-world government that can regulate all pollution over the cross.
That's what I was just going to say. Well, you're not wrong.
Because we need somebody to stop China. We can't control what they do.
It's not about stopping anybody. If you want to
get what I'm saying.
What about Africa and India?
Well, if you want to get anywhere beyond the planet, you got to stop thinking about us as a separate entities on this planet. We're planet Earth. Let's, as a planet, put all of our money towards
you're talking about
Mars.
money, right? But I think that's a waste too.
Money,
I think
resources,
that's a waste
time.
too. I think most of our people that are listening would probably say, if we're going to spend 100 billion, 200, whatever, I would figure, I think I'd rather have it on something that's going to affect us, our health.
I agree. Honestly, if we're going to do it like that and put everything towards problems, like let's put everything we've got towards this certain problem, wipe it out. Let's do hunger first. You know what I mean? Let's get everybody on the planet comfortable. If we're spending all of our money in these weird ways, then we start figuring out health and aging, anti-aging, and then once we've got a healthy fucking immortal population, now let's start thinking about what we can do with our immortality. That'd be my thought.
Well, I think most of the hunger in this world is not because we don't have enough food. It's because
petty
people lose money. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we can send as much food as we want to Venezuela. It's not going to get there.
Yeah, I imagine. I've seen.
It's not getting to the people that need it. That's
I'm probably way off on this, but like 2/3 of the food that's actually produced just rots away.
A lot of it does. Yeah. A great percentage of it does. Because there's the people that have it and the people that don't. But that's because of.
There's always going to be haves and have-nots.
And political. These are geopolitical problems.
Those stories about people having to like pour fucking bleach on their excess food at the end of the night so the bums don't get it out of the dumpster, to me is just insane. Well, everybody's heard those stories about like my boss made me pour bleach on my donuts.
Walmart has certain stores, I hope, that whatever excess it is they give to the homeless or whatever, which they should do instead of letting it rot.
They
That's
should.
Crazy. But
at the same time, I don't want, if I'm a company, I don't want a group of bums who have figured out that I'm throwing away good shit every night because this is what I do. I can't now sell it. I don't want this to be known as the place where bums go to eat my trash. I'm throwing bleach on it because I don't want these 30 fucking guys outside my business.
Now you're talking about economics.
Well, and if they give it away and somebody consumes it.
What if one of these bums is climbing into my dumpster, slips and busts his head? Now he's got a lawsuit against me because I'm in the normal course of business.
That's fair.
Throwing away my lawful trash. You know what I mean? And now I've got these guys trespassing.
But I think you're agreeing then. I mean, getting back to the point, is going to Mars a priority?
No.
It's not.
No.
Right?
I don't think so.
That's what they said about the moon too in the 60s. A lot of people remember.
There were
people with these placards up, solve problems on Earth before you go to the moon.
Have you guys seen the video of Neil deGrasse Tyson speaking in front of I believe it was Congress? I'm not sure, but he was trying to help NASA get more of their budget back, and he explained to them that during this space race that we're talking about, how the attitude and the feeling in America was so like, let's look forward, we're looking at the future, we're doing new shit. Like, we as a country we're just so much just ready. Like, hey, we got to the moon. We're
that's what we said.
There was hope. There was
this
so much.
This is a matter of national pride.
Exactly.
We're getting there so we can invent all these new things.
I don't think that same thing would happen now. Like, what would it take to cause that sort of feeling in America, that this space race and us winning it, getting the moon, and everybody, just.
But I'm not sure.
Let me ask you this: what's the difference between that and the Olympic type stuff, where you have it's more or less a national pride? Why do we put all this money towards our Olympic teams and build these stadiums and fund these athletes just to train
for people to watch?
Exactly the same thing with space, though.
No, space. We don't go to space for people to watch. We go to space so we can learn.
Part of it.
We don't do the Olympics to learn.
I mean, why would we go to? We don't go to the moon like Kennedy wasn't going to the moon to learn.
He's going that's such a minuscule. We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. You think if we had a bill that said, look, instead of whatever the national budget is for this, we're going to divert 10% of our GDP to pure science, ideally health, because a lot of these things, I mean, we do give a lot of money to science, but some of it's studying snails on treadmills and stupid shit.
Are you asking me would I contribute an extra 10 cents? What are you asking?
Well, I'm just, would it pass? Do you think most people would say, yes, do that?
Probably
and even
not.
Tax me more.
I don't
as
think
long
most
as my money. I would.
I would too, but I don't think most people would.
Really?
I don't think most people would.
If it's going straight towards health and longevity,
Right.
I would say young people wouldn't give a fuck about that. It's us who are on.
I would say it would be more of the young people that would give a fuck.
I think
about
I'd say
it.
it's
Yeah.
us. It's more important, like me and Armand, or us, who are past the middle point of our life, where we really start to think that we're mortal and start thinking about that. Did you think about your death in your early 20s as much as you probably do now?
No, what you think about dying?
Everybody thinks about dying, I would think. Don't you think about dying from time to time?
Yeah, the older you get,
I've
the
thought
more you
about
think
like
about
what
it.
it feels like to not be able to take another breath. And is there a moment, a period in between you take your
You've
last
never thought
breath?
about the impending death.
Right. I mean, there's a point in your life where you say, "Look, I'm going to die," and that's probably after 25. You never,
Right.
you think you're immortal at 20
or
25.
The thought never doesn't really enter your brain until after 25 or so. You start to think about this is going to end. When you start noticing wrinkles in the actual act of aging hasn't become. The good part of aging is going from young to fucking strong adult.
Mm-hmm.
And once you reach strong adult and it's all downhill, then you start to think about the fucking mortality of you're going to die. So what I'm saying is young people don't have that concern as much as people who see these wrinkles every day throwing, or who have prostate problems or fucking heart attacks.
Or gray hair in their
Or gray
goatee.
hair.
Or can't get it up.
Yeah, I'm going to contend if you don't have gray
Not
hair,
me.
you're
I'm
probably
fine.
not super worried about, death coming soon.
I'm already content with
But
the
you don't
fact
think
we're
that-
going to die. We're not stopping that. You know what I mean? So death is a natural part of life, and that's going to fucking
It
happen.
doesn't scare you at all that you're going to die someday? You never
I mean,
know.
what am I going? How's that going to affect me to be scared right now
It's
of
not.
dying?
It's
All
not.
it's going to do is hurt. It's going to make my fucking head be thinking about it constantly.
But would
I
you
ain't
give
got time
money
for that shit.
to the pursuit of immortality?
I already said definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely I would give money to the pursuit of immortality on the off chance it may help me, but if it doesn't, it'll help someone else.
But
Maybe
the point being
my
is,
lineage would help.
as at our advanced age, it's more of a priority for us than the younger people who I would say would be like, no, let's do space exploration. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm going off of like how most young people are like vegans and environmentalists and like they want to preserve everything. We can't do this. The environment's too bad. So I'm thinking that would help. Like, wait, we can be immortal. We need to put this into that so we can.
Yeah,
all
but
not-
that's two different ways of thinking. The like your vegans and whatnot are like, let's just live a healthy lifestyle. We're talking the science of forced health. You know what I mean? To make sure your body is always tip-top shape. That's
Do you
kinda what
have
we're
to?
doing.
Oh, there's a question. Do you have to take the injection to make you
I wouldn't say you'd have
not
to do
age
anything.
anymore? Can you choose to die? Because if so, this is
Sure.
now.
No,
if it-
full different topic now. I think we've had this topic before. I think
Right.
we concluded that if you take the immortality pill, you have to go sterile, and then otherwise, and you don't have to go immortality.
You're like a vampire. You can't have kids.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's put this one to bed. We were like 3 topics past the moon landing at this point.
That's when we get our best conversations, though, is whenever we're off topic and just talking about whatever shit comes to mind.
Well,
I still don't know what. I don't know if anybody answered. Did they think we went to the moon or not? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the. I was just trying to
nobody
do a
ever
little
answered me
ad
either
hoc
about how the
poll.
audio was at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah,
either,
I don't
so-
think they're here for us. I think they're just here to hang out.
Yeah, they talk to each other. They don't really talk
Well,
to
I
us.
really want to know.
Yeah, so,
I think we're pretty intelligent people. Listening.
Somebody make a poll in the group. Did we go? Did we not?
Yeah.
We'll get it figured out.
Should we
We'll
have
give you the
gone?
results next
See,
week.
the
But if
problem
you
is,
know there's
and
a group,
I'm not
we'll
shitting
get
on our
it.
Should we
listeners.
have gone or was
but
it
you
a
put that
waste?
poll in our group, 80% of the people are going to use it as an excuse to make a joke. You know what I mean?
Well, that's
They,
fun.
most people, a lot
You
like
gotta remove
don't
ad
take this
poll
the wrong way.
options.
Don't take this the wrong way, but you can't wait to do stuff like your fucking Sunny reference and continue to fucking push that.
No, when it pops in my head, why am I not say it though?
And
If
that's
it's
the
on,
same thing.
if it's on topic, why am I not say it?
What did
Well, it really
What did
wasn't. You
Marissa
let it
said?
go.
She answered. We answered. Who answered?
Oh, we weren't paying attention.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
they
guess
did
it's our
answer.
fault. Maybe we're just
It's
arguing.
never our fault.
But was it worth it then? Was it worth it? Could we have done something better with that money? Because it did cost a certain amount of money.
It's a point of view. Better is a point of view,
Priority, yeah. What's the priority here? Well,
I'm
you know what I
asking
mean?
you, was it worth it?
in my opinion.
In
You seem to be
69?
saying, what do we get out of
In
it?
'69, yeah, it was definitely worth it because of what it caused, what it meant for America. It was worth it.
But it's not worth doing again or going to Mars.
already did it.
We already did it, man. What? It's just risk reward. Like, what? Why? What's the
It's the same
gain?
goal we filled in the 60s by getting to the moon. Because could that goal be a worthwhile goal today? No.
Right, at
I
the
don't think
same
so.
cost of
That's
like
ignorance.
GDP. You know, if it
Yeah.
was the same percentage of GDP and the same effort that went into it to go to Mars.
Honestly,
wouldn't
I don't
even
even think
pursue
you
it.
could adjust. Like, you couldn't even spend. If they were to do this same mission today, it would it would cost fucking 100 times more than what it cost in 1969. But I'm talking
about inflation, getting all that out of the same amount of GDP.
You said percentage of GDP,
right? Same percentage, adjusting for inflation.
You saying would we have enough money if we adjusted for inflation?
No, would it be worth even trying? Because there's certainly no guarantee that's going to succeed.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, you wouldn't even do it.
There's better uses.
I say unmanned is much cheaper.
Everybody was saying that.
Unmanned is much cheaper and gives you just as much, if not better. Results.
Yeah, because you don't have a point of view or somebody. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's.
I mean, if you can make a robot, and be there as an avatar for a human, why put a human in danger? Especially whenever the avatar can be stuffed with telemetry instead of a human who is so fragile they have to be inside of a suit with a level of insulation between them and the land there.
But if the guy wants to do it.
If the guy wants to do it, let the
guy do it.
It's voluntary.
You're not
making. Again, just because he wants to do it doesn't mean I want to spend the money on it just because you got the hankering to go to Mars. Fuck you. I'd rather live forever, but it's my priority versus yours.
That supports our mom's decision that future space exploration will be private because the government won't. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Well, I got to say,
at the end of the day, private.
Am I the only guy among the three of us that when I see? I mean, I watched that movie, First Man or whatever the hell it's called.
Sure.
And I got to say, I was very proud when it's like, wow, we really did something. I mean, that's something that you can't put a value on. Even 50 years later,
right what they wanted to do.
Yeah, well, but that
makes me proud to be an American.
It's the same way I felt when I was explaining that, or when I watched that speech from Neil deGrasse Tyson addressing Congress about why NASA needs a fucking budget here. Why we have to give them more? Because he basically
did he say he want to go to Mars with it though?
No, this was just
if we did go to Mars. Just imagine it, and we're watching on TV, probably, now, who knows what we'd be watching it on, but wouldn't you, I think I'd be pretty flush with pride. Like, wow, my country, what an accomplishment that is.
NASA's personal stream service for $9.99, you could watch them land
whatever, you could probably get a cam and everything else and do it with him, be there with him, but wouldn't you be flush with pride if we did that?
Yeah, but that, again,
it's not worth it. It's still not worth it.
It's because I would say that we've been brought up from birth to be, patriotic, and as soon as we see it, it's like the same thing as your sports team winning the Super Bowl. It's the same thing as your sports team winning the Super Bowl. We won. We got there. I'm very proud to be part of this group. But and I literally had nothing to do with it.
No, but let's say the Russians and the Chinese helped us. It was all a mass United Nations effort.
Super proud of that.
As a human being. Right, sure. Not just to beat the Russians.
It's obviously a great accomplishment.
Well, wasn't it Nixon, and I've mentioned it on the show before, that said, I could imagine how the differences between countries that we don't align ourselves with would wash away if we were if the entire Earth was faced with a threat from outside.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
That's
what I'm saying.
You'd see those differences wash away.
Well, would you be proud as a human being?
Fucking A right, I would, yeah. I would definitely be proud as a human.
It's still not worth $100 billion.
Would you go out and buy the "We Made It to Mars" shirt like they want you to?
No, I'm cheap. I got pride for days, but money I don't.
Yeah, I'd probably steal one.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're fucking thinking.
Yes, and I'd wear it though.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. That's what patriotism is. Well, that's why they asked, what's his name, Mallory. Why did you climb Mount Everest? Because it's there.
Yeah.
Why did we go to Mars? Because we're humans and we do this shit.
That's what the fuck we do.
That's what we do.
Well, but that I'm just saying that doesn't have monetary value to you apparently, or not enough.
No,
to merit $100 million or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of arbitrary. I live in that weird set of if I could be a hermit and not be involved in any type of group, I would. So I have trouble getting excited for the accomplishments of others that I didn't have anything to do with. It's like I didn't do that. You know what I mean? Why am I proud? I'm glad that humanity has accomplished things, but to be like. It's like those people who go out in the streets of Dallas whenever the Cowboys win the Super Bowl.
That's horseshit. That's a false equivalency also because you're talking about being part of a team as like a sports team and being proud for something that you had no part in.
Right, humanity.
You're equating that to being part of humanity's
scientific endeavors.
No, they're being united. Growth? Humanity is united and overcome huge problems that have affected all of us versus this guy running a ball into an end zone. You can't equate those two things. Those are totally different. So you can't feel the same pride for your Cowboys that you can for the because I just think it touches a deeper part of.
Ask me this. Tell me this. You think Jono gives two fucks about space, but whenever the fucking Cowboys score, he's got that pride. It's all about what you're interested in. You can't say that you can't equate those two senses of pride. What I'm saying I can equate is because I had nothing to do with that touchdown. I had nothing to do with that rocket getting in space. I don't have.
We were talking about being a human and being proud of what we have done.
Which I could say I'm glad that we did that as a human, but I can't feel the pride, like personal pride.
Here's a different thing, though. When I saw that movie, it did inspire me. I could do better things. That's what it is. It's an inspiration.
How long did it inspire you for that, though?
Not long, but I mean, okay, but at least it helps.
Right. No, you're like I said, it totally gets you in a different spot than being
maybe
happy
I can be a better man
over a win.
Maybe
you know what I mean? Like it's not the same,
that's
man.
Worth something.
It really
supposed to be.
isn't.
It's an inspirational movie. I mean,
I'm just talking about the act, but not the movie. The act itself. I was like, wow, we did that. Maybe there's something I can do that I'm not trying hard enough to do.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I mean, I think
if
all
it
of us are that
inspires
way.
a young scientist to be, you know,
I would
like
say
whatever,
all of us,
to be the next Einstein.
Weren't we talking about that the other day, or maybe it was me and my wife, that we get down on ourselves that we're not, you know, like we know these tours we got to do, we don't think we do enough. We only think we don't do enough because we know we could kill ourselves and do more. It's being happy with what you do and live a happy life. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where I'm going with that now, but
but I think my point is that maybe we'll inspire some kid to be a scientist later and get the next Einstein or Steve Jobs.
In that case, it would be worth it. But there's no way to quantify that to people.
Absolutely
to
not.
Explain it like.
But I think that's the kind of ineffable thing that happens from these things that you can't put any value on. And I think that's why that's the counter to that. Yeah, sure, it's a lot of money, but if it inspires more kids to get into the space or science and to do better things.
Yeah, if it makes one kid not want to be a dumbass and that kid does something great because he watched the, you know, or
maybe it is worth it.
And maybe you're right. And yeah,
I guess I'm too introverted. You know what I mean? I don't
buy that.
You're jaded
buy
on
that
that
argument.
subject.
I'm not saying jaded.
You might say bullshit.
I don't look to the outside for my inspiration. If I wanted to do something, I do it because it was in me to want to do it. I don't know.
You don't think you could feel
that's what I'm saying. I'm too
joy in a victory for humanity?
No.
You don't think you would?
If we were fighting against aliens and they were coming, like it was aliens are going to wipe us out. Yeah, I would sure as fuck feel glad that we won.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't feel glad because we were alive. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about.
What if you're watching a Mars landing with your kid who's like 10 years old and wanted to be a garbage man
and saw
this and said, Dad, I think I want to be a scientist. I think I want to
have fun with
I'm going to change the world.
How would that make you feel?
That wouldn't make you feel
wow, maybe
good?
it's worth it. We did it.
That Mars landing made your kids think she wants to change the world now?
There's going to be a million different things to make. It just depends on what the kid walked by and saw that day. You know what I mean? It could be they saw the moon landing or they could have saw Olympic diving.
That's not going to make you want to that Olympic diving's the inspiration level is not there. Yeah, I'll jump off a board.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of people.
You're missing my point. It's whatever a kid sees at that one point in time.
But that's what I'm saying. This inspires them to go into science instead of being a synchronized swimmer. Maybe maybe
if that matters,
maybe that kid figures out interstellar travel because he develops the fucking formula that can let you travel at the speed of light.
Maybe
Well, a lot of people say that they were inspired by whatever Einstein or to be a physicist.
Could you be proud of an accomplishment that was not your own?
No, because what did I do? Why do my
you are a human?
But I'm just it's like saying I'm proud to be white. You get what I'm saying? I didn't do nothing to be white. I'm not going to be proud just to be something. I'm not proud to be a human and take fucking pride in something this human over there did.
That's small-minded comparison because it is because being white. I'm not talking about being white. I'm talking about eliminating that entire aspect.
Being part of a group and taking, putting yourself in a group and then taking credit or feeling pride for something this group has done. Whenever, in all honesty, you had nothing to do with it.
All right.
Are you proud to be an American?
Here you go. No, hang on. I'll do it like this.
To a point, I'd rather be American than anything else. But what I'm saying
you didn't do anything about that. It's just an accident of birth.
But I can't take personal pride or really have pride that we won World War II or won Iraq. I had nothing to do with it. I'm glad we did.
Yeah, but when the national anthem plays, you're proud, right? Because this is my country and it's the greatest country on earth. I think
you've never caught a feeling from I'm proud to be an American.
That's proud to be an American, not proud for an accomplishment. Pride for an accomplishment is different from difference from a being. That's two different things. I'm saying yes, I can be proud to be an American.
Why you didn't have nothing to do with it? You were just born here,
right? Okay, I'm glad I'm American rather than pride. How about that? I'm glad I'm American rather than somewhere else because it's obvious.
You don't buy my point though that doing these things inspires a new generation of scientists.
But you're not listening to my point that I guess I'm too introverted.
No, I get it. You don't take pride in it. I get it. I'm just saying that aside. That I think is how people explain all this stuff.
And if that's worth it to you, then fine.
If I can relate this to you in an easy way, that place where you feel that little bit of pride when you feel the song, when I'm proud to be,
I don't feel that
place,
like you do, I guess.
You just said that you understand what we're saying here.
I understand it, but I'm not
saying I feel it. So you have felt some sort of like feeling from an outside source that you had nothing to do with. That's exactly what he's talking about. It's the same place that it could be to a different degree or a different level.
But it's not the same because we were talking before about accomplishment versus just a sense of being. You know what I mean? It's like I can't take if like you went in the other room and made 1,000,000 points on Pac-Man And since I was somewhat responsible for you getting this job, I feel pride that you were able to get 1,000,000 points on Pac-Man.
I would say more than I'm your brother than you.
Either which way, I had nothing to do with your accomplishment.
Or even your kid.
I'm
How
happy.
About your kid?
I had nothing. Maybe I'm proud because I created that kid. That's the only close thing. I'm proud that I took part and created something that did that. But I didn't do what my
if you were responsible for nurturing someone's interest in a certain subject?
I could be proud that I did that.
Off.
But I'm not going to be proud of fucking making 1,000,000 points when it wasn't me who made the 1,000,000 points.
Yeah, but you voted for the bill and you helped nurture this kid's opinion. No, you get what I'm saying though. Like, would you vote for the bill?
Let me put it this way. Me, and I'm totally anti-government on everything. But if there's one thing maybe government should do, it's inspire its citizens. Besides keeping them safe, inspire their citizens to achieve more than they would without the government.
Well, they are.
And I think.
Oh, no, not without the government. No, I spoke too soon before you finished that sentence.
But if the government, funds this, and like I said, I can imagine how people, when this moon landing was, I was there. I was just a little kid. I was like 6 years old, and I remember it. I'm sure you guys don't. You might not even been alive.
No, that was 1969.
I didn't have pints. I really didn't know the gravity of what was going on. But I'm sure people that were like a little older than me, maybe it did spur people, and a lot of people were like, wow.
It was a 9/11 moment, but opposite feeling. So everybody knows where they were when that happened. When you know what I mean? Like, you know what was going on, and at the time it didn't seem, it was bad. But like years later, you look back on it as the greatest tragedy. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much worse.
You don't know what you don't. Well, same thing with the atom bomb. Even the physicists didn't know what they had unleashed there.
Right.
You know, that was, to them, it was a big success. Wow, we did something. It was great. And then they realized, oh, Jesus, what did we just make?
A weapon, yeah.
Yeah. And then they dropped it on Hiroshima.
I always got kind of jaded on that one, too. It's like, you didn't know what the fuck you were doing. Or like, after the fact, you had to wait till after your fact to realize the gravity of the situation, what you did.
They knew, though.
It's like in the movie Real Genius when they created that laser.
But they were told
King gets talked to by God. You created a 13 megawatt laser with a giant mirror for targeting. Did you not think it was a weapon?
Yeah.
Right, like how do you? But they justify that by saying, "Listen, we're destroying
science,
Nazi. We got to do it before the Nazis do it. And if they get it, the world will be a new dark age. You have to understand."
You support like crazy weapons like earthquake machines just to develop them before some other country does?
No, I don't.
Okay. I was just wondering. That was awful. Also,
the greatest waste of all is what we spend on defense. You believe me, we waste so much money on bullshit wars and stupidity. Right? If I think if you put that on a ballot, and said, look, we bring all our troops home, close down all these 100 bases in 170 countries, and put it all into science, I think most people say do it.
I would.
I'd say science is a better spend than war. Well, that's just
sure.
But
that's another thing government does. Scares the piss out of everybody, so we think that we need them.
Government, news, family. I mean, everybody uses fear to get their point across. So, I mean.
Well, fear always trumps over knowledge, unfortunately. That's just human nature. That's why we get war instead of going to Mars or whatever.
Apparently we missed something good in the chat, and they're like, we'll have to go back through and see what that was.
Yeah, I'll read it later. I'm too busy talking.
You guys got any more? We wrapping it up.
Yeah, I think we mined all we
can.
Wrap
it up, yo.
All right. We'll catch you all next week. Thank you for listening.
Goodbye, everybody.
Appreciate it. Sorry we haven't been more shows, and we won't be back on next week. We have a huge tournament in St. Louis that we're doing.
Again.
Relative.
Huge is relative. Compared to Dota.
Huge for Halo. Biggest Halo tournament in the last decade.
There you go.
So.
Keep your humbleness, you know what I'm saying? That's my only point. It's huge for us. It's a big deal for us. Any which way, thanks for listening. Check out surrealtalkpodcast.com. Vote in the poll. Check out yoradio.com for the best in streaming radio. We got the new channel I'm launching on Yo Radio within the next few weeks, Rabbit Hole Radio. Look out for that. And otherwise, we'll catch you next time.
We're doing Rabbit Hole
Radio. It's going real good. I got a lot of bigger podcasts signed to it, like, for instance, the Higher Side Chats.
Higher Side Chats will be on the Yo Radio station?
He's agreed to allow us to use his content on there. So
nice.
For Ohio, a bunch of them. I mean, there's all kinds of casts out there. That
Rogan?
Nah, not Rogan. I didn't even contact him. It doesn't really work. Anyway,
right.
We'll catch you guys next week.
Thanks for coming, you guys. Or showing up. Did he already leave? Oh, Armand's gone. All right, right on. Oh, I have no idea why that didn't happen.
I don't care right now anyway, but hey, we're still live. Hey, catch you all next week.
Later, alligators.
See you.
Thanks for what?